yeah, so you're in the hot seat basically. So
Yeah, that's where I like to be.
Okay. So there's a couple things that will be a little different about it, which is it will be a little bit more like an interrogation, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And I might do a lot of what you call reasonable interruption, where
Yeah, if you have to clarify something, if it feels like
yeah,
it's not
like
on
if
topic.
let's say I asked, it could be something that I need to do to atone for me, right? So let's say an example would be, I ask you a question, and because I formulate the question kind of poorly, you
Mm-hmm.
begin to answer it kind of poorly, and then I have to stop you and say, wait, I can't let you finish that answer because you're going the wrong direction, or
Mm-hmm.
I didn't prompt my question clear enough for you to answer the question I wanted
Mm-hmm.
you to answer. So there might be a lot of reasonable interruption for things like that, for clarification reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right. So basically, I made it transparent to you and just your viewers, whoever may be watching me, that I am indeed, in a way, since you would consider yourself a leftist, correct?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay. So you being a leftist, um, I do feel like I need to, for lack of a better term, kind of destroy your worldview.
Wow. Okay.
And as scary, yeah, I know that sounds kind of scary, but as kind of brutal as that sounds, it's purely out of love. It's because it's good for you.
Mm-hmm.
I need to I need to do it because it's good for
Well,
you,
that's, I
essentially.
mean, kind of makes sense. That's like when Jesus came, he said that he came to destroy social classes of rich and poor and even like the family. So that makes sense. Kind of destroying like
Came to destroy the
conceptual.
family. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
No.
To turn mother
Yeah.
against son, brother against brother.
That's what it's what he told us to do.
I mean, that's what's
It seems
written.
to
I don't
be
know.
in
That's
none
what we
of
can
the
read. Yeah.
28 none of like the 38 parables of Jesus that are is anything like that in there. And I kind of refreshed myself on them today, so
Hmm.
I
I
I
could have
would
sworn
I
there's more.
that would have been more familiar to me, but I'm not surprised it's not,
I think
given that it may be
it's in
it's very
Matthew.
easy to.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so you notice I argue with that Ico guy in your
Mm-hmm.
he's in your Discord a lot,
Yep.
and the reason why that guy triggers me more than anybody else is because he is, for lack of a better term, a straight up a heretic.
Mm.
He takes in my view, but forget the fact that he's a Catholic. We don't even
Strike number
fight much
one.
on those differences. Yeah, well, I mean, there's little silly things there, but I mean, I married a
Leftist
Catholic, so it's not that
Catholics.
big of a
Mm.
deal. No, well, it's not, that part's not that big of a deal. It's a small disagreement. But the thing is, he's not even. I don't even think he's a Catholic by Catholic standards.
Mm.
It's a complete bastardized reading of the Bible and understanding of what they, like Paul said and stuff like that. Like that guy, that type of deception, just like that triggers me like
Well,
no
here,
other. So, but it
let's try to keep
anyway.
it to mostly us, because people watching won't know, the lore of what's happening in
So
in the
basically,
Discord, in
just
my
me and
Discord
the
chats.
Catholic guy, and yeah, and
um,
within Socratease Discord, there is
well,
this
yeah,
guy
but
who claims to be a
I can't
Catholic
stand
who,
to testify for him. I can only
yeah, whose
testify for
favorite
myself.
pope
So.
was the one, whose favorite pope was the one who said something that sounded most friendly towards socialism. So that's
Mm,
his whole proof for why the religion must support
yeah.
socialism and like all kind of
Based.
wacky shit like that. But anyway, this is not about him. This is about you. Um, so I remember, we'll just kind of kick it off with recent events. You know, since the assassination attempt on Trump happened since the last time we've talked.
Yeah.
And that was not very surprising to me, but still shocking. I kind of knew that something like that was coming. It was just more of a matter of when type of thing.
Sure. Makes sense.
Before it happened, I remember us having this conversation about this constant demonization of Trump. How the left loves to constantly compare him to Hitler and make all these Hitler references and authoritarianism references towards him. And I remember expressing my concern to you of how that is unjustifiably cranking up the temperature on the rhetoric, because it's not reciprocal. We aren't, people, conservatives on the right are not coming at your candidate with hateful rhetoric saying that he's, an evil person. We were just saying that's Sleepy Joe. He's sleepy. He's muttering. He's bumbling. He's incompetent. He's getting old. He's slowing down. That was a lot of us were taking pity on the guy. We're like, Jesus Christ, this is elder abuse. Let the guy go home and eat fucking Jello, right? Like, there's no hatred really from us towards Biden.
So let's make this a little bit more. So let's make this a little bit more targeted, right? Because this is like there's a lot of preamble, and obviously I disagree with like every single thing that you're saying.
Okay, well, this is the format you agreed to, so you're gonna have to address that when we get to it. This is just how I see it, and this is the reason why we're having this conversation.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
So we're having this conversation. This is the prompt.
You're not seeing anything. You're seeing stuff flying in one direction. You're not seeing the stuff that's flying in the other direction. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. So once I clarify what I am and what I'm not seeing, then I'll just go ahead and ask you.
That makes sense.
Where I'm wrong there. So this is what I see. This is all the memes, everything. The memes about Trump from the left are about him being a Hitler, and the joke is written a page long, so it's never funny. And then it's like the memes about Joe Biden is that he's a sleepy old dopey guy. He's getting hauled off to the, he's getting hauled off to the senior home right now. It's not like hateful going at him. So yeah, just off that note. Straight up, I started questioning this well before the election. Well, after the election, when they were talking about, cheating, accusations of cheating, it is possible that you can cheat in such a way, like this is what I truly believe, okay? Some things that changed around COVID could possibly have allowed the establishment to cheat in such a way that either it would be a direct condition of the changes that supposedly had to be in place at the time, or B, within those conditions, being the COVID lockdown. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that on Twitch. I don't know. I can't say that. Edit that part out, I guess, if you're recording it. But
Twitch, it's okay. Putting it on YouTube is the headache. Yeah.
Okay, that's the difference. Okay, I'll try to be more careful. But so it is possible that under those same conditions, you could cheat in a way that no one would ever find out, unless not saying there would be zero evidence, but I'm just saying I would never put the
You think maybe Biden stole the election?
I would never. What I'm saying is that I would never put the chances of that possibility at zero.
Sure, I believe you. Based on what you've told me, I believe that you would not put that possibility at zero.
Right, and I think it's perfectly reasonable not to put that at zero. I think that's a perfectly reasonable position. Just like I wouldn't.
Well, if you're talking about like the chance of a bunch of particles tunneling through some other particles, the chance of my hand going through my hand is kind of non-zero. But
interpret it whatever way you want to. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, I'm just saying that the rhetoric around just the people out front is so vastly contrasted in the way that I just described to you. Do you see it any different? Am I wrong in any way, or how do you see it?
I do see it very differently. So when you said that you're not surprised that somebody took a shot at Trump, like the first things that I think of when I'm thinking about, is it surprising that somebody did this or didn't? Well, Trump's pretty cheap and he doesn't pay for secure venues. He kept getting warned about doing these open air venues. We're living in a country where there's lots of lone wolf shooters, which is who this appeared to be.
That doesn't matter.
Wait.
A crock of shit. No, there's no wait with it. This is the format you agreed to.
If you want me to answer, I'm going to answer, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to pull punches.
With this answer. No, because the answer is already smelling like bullshit. So I can't let this answer continue.
Well, wait. So which pieces of it smell like bullshit?
I have to. No, exactly.
I can provide context if I want in my answers. What have I said that's false?
Like I said, if I have to cut you short, so that I need.
No, you can cut me off, but you have to respond to what I said.
I am going to respond to what you said. It does not matter that he chose an outdoor venue. The Secret Service, like their assignment, is to just make sure that the basic, a basic coverage of the president. It doesn't matter if it's outside or not. That particular rooftop that shooter shot from should have not been unmanned or ignored. Having a drone in the air or having a person up there should just be enough. Like, that would have been enough. A simple solution like that should have been enough. And it was already deemed to be a massive failure on the Secret Service's behalf.
Sure. Yeah.
Of which the director just stepped down from. Because it's not Trump's fault that he chose to be in an outdoor venue at the end of the day. The one getting fired is her.
Who chose to be in an outdoor venue if not him?
It doesn't fucking matter. Why does that matter?
Well, if it doesn't matter, we can move on, but is there anything that I said that's false?
Okay. No, it's just that the question you're asking is a non sequitur. It has nothing to do. You're asking. You're saying, well, you're not asking a question. I'm sorry. You're asserting that he wanted. You're for whatever reason you're bringing up the fact that he wanted to speak at an outdoor venue. Do presidential candidates never speak at outdoor venues and have rallies at outdoor venues, Socratease?
Is that to me? Yeah, I mean, lots of candidates do that. He did that a lot, and he did that apparently at enough difficult to secure open air venues that he was repeatedly warned about it. That's what I heard. Maybe that's not true.
It's not up to him. Okay,
it's not up to him where he has his venues. What?
No, he could have his venue, but I'm saying the security at his venue is completely on the Secret Service.
Well, wait. If I walk down an alleyway, a dark alleyway, and I get mugged, it's on the mugger, obviously. But
do you think that? No.
I'm going to blame the victim a little bit here if we're going to make a point out of it.
That is fallacious as well. Do you think the Secret Service would let him walk down a dark alleyway? Like,
no. They wouldn't let Trump, but they let him be at an outdoor venue.
No. There are things that the Secret Service will and will not allow the president to do and go. Mm-hmm. Speaking at an outdoor venue is perfectly fine, and we've been doing it for hundreds of years. We've been doing it since this country has, has
JFK got shot.
Okay, so what?
Lincoln got shot in a theater. I don't understand. Reagan got shot outside of. I don't remember what the venue was, but I mean,
Okay, yes.
I don't understand. What's the point here? I don't get the.
The point here is I'm saying that
Why can I
it
not
has
state
nothing
that?
to do.
Why is it wrong to say that that's like
It
a
has
factor?
nothing to do with the topic. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I'm talking about the rhetoric between both sides
Okay.
and what it's led to. Okay, the rhetoric on both
Well, we
sides
can
and
we
what
can
it's
move
led
on,
to.
but you wanted to make an issue out of this. I mean,
Because you're not answering the question.
I'm
So
not
what
answering
I'm
because you wanted to
asking
talk
you.
about this instead of. I had a
You
lot more
made an
answer to give, and you
order.
interrupted me
No,
here.
no, Socrates, stop talking. If you want this, you agree to this format, so you have to obey the laws of the format. Can you please? Now you're gonna have to stop talking until I can clarify
Okay, go
why
ahead.
we're getting lost here. Okay, I'm asking you about the rhetoric on both sides and what it's led to, and you're bringing up the fact that he wanted to have an outdoor rally. It has nothing to do
I think it's
with what
relevant.
we're talking about. It's what?
I think it's relevant. I think it's relevant information.
Why do you think it's relevant? Why is that relevant? Why is the choice of Trump's relevant to the subject matter of the rhetoric that is empowering the movements of both sides? Why is that important?
Because we live in a country where one political party is okay with shootings happening all the time,
Jesus
and a
Christ.
shooting happening. I think that's a fair context. That's not the bulk
Do
of my
we-
answer.
do-
That's not the
hold on,
main thing I'm
hold
going to
on.
say, but that's a context.
We have the Secret Service. We have a history of
Mhm.
presidents and presidential candidates or whatever getting shot outside.
Yeah, I don't dispute that.
That's going to happen, okay?
Hmm.
That's going to happen. I don't see what the big deal is. The failure was on them.
Mhm.
It was the Secret Service's failure.
Sure.
That it can be.
I agree 100%.
It can be made to be totally safe
Mhm.
to have a rally at an outdoor venue. Trump is still having rallies at outdoor venues. It has not
Sure.
stopped him.
I
You know
don't
what has
dispute that.
changed? Yeah, you know what has changed is the level of security
I'm
and
sure.
the
Yeah.
accountability. Now the Secret Service is forced to take accountability, so that shit is not
No,
happening.
I mean,
yet.
no one wants to fuck that up twice in one.
I mean,
You know.
they could try. They could try. It's just going to get a lot harder now, and it should be.
Yeah.
This should never have happened. Okay.
I agree.
And it is and it is irrelevant because the one side you're talking about does not advocate for shooting the other side of the other candidate in the opposite camp. That's not what they're about. They're not.
Do you want to
for
bet
that.
on it?
Do I want to bet on it that the whole party endorses shooting their
The
political
whole
rival?
party.
This
whole
is what
party?
you're
Do you
demonizing
think
the
the
whole
whole-
side. You're saying one side.
Do you think
is-
all the
is-
Democrats advocate for?
You
I'm
just
a Democrat.
said.
I've never
You
advocated
just
for
said.
that.
No, you just said right now that you have one side of the country or whatever
Mhm.
that is okay with people getting shot all the time. You said that.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of policy, in terms of what
so
they're doing,
justify
if
that
you're not
because
stopping
it's
it,
not fucking
then
true.
one
Shooting
political
at your
party.
political
Yeah.
shoot your one party.
What
only
common
one
sense gun
party
control
here-
have they put in place? I mean, Trump banned bump stocks. You know what? I take it back. Trump banned bump stocks. So maybe that's something. But they're school shooting. Like, do you get a little
Okay,
bit of
look,
the point that
let
I'm
me-
making?
No, none
No?
of this point, none of this fucking matters. Let's all pretend. Let's hypothetically, but pretend that we're all born with a gun, just like in our hand. I just pointed at you like
No,
that.
I refuse.
When we have a gun,
I refuse.
Huh?
I refuse to.
you refuse.
Yeah.
You refuse to engage with a hypothetical.
Okay. What's the hypothetical?
I'm giving it to you right
Okay.
now. Let's say hypothetically we're in universe, we're in a different
Mhm.
universe, right? In the multiverse. And
Sure.
in this multiverse, everything is the same except we're all born with the ability to shoot like a beam weapon out of our
It's an alternate
Point
reality,
finger.
which is Texas. That's
we
basically.
all have it. We all have this lethal touch we can do it to each
Uh-huh.
other. And Trump speaks outside of a rally, and this douchebag takes a shot at him.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing changes, right? The only thing that's different is that one side has gotten so amped up and so violent that they'll actually take violent action against their political rivals. That is the difference. It doesn't matter. Both sides can get their hands on guns. We got more guns than people in this country.
I didn't understand what the point of that was.
It was hypothetical. The hypothetical is you pretend that everyone's got the power of lethality, and and only one side tried to justify themselves in using it, like
which side?
Okay, so the side that demonized the other the most was
which side is that?
You know, the left demonized Trump ever since he's began. He's been Hitler, Orange Hitler, all that shit. Orange man bad.
Yeah. I did hear Orange man bad.
Constantly, yeah, constantly. That's like the slogan, right? That's it. So that type of rhetoric is what led to this event happening.
Is that true? Did something come out?
Did something come out?
Yeah.
No, this is obviously an ideological.
Okay. So when you say
obviously, so what do you think that this is a caddy that Trump didn't tip well? Who do you think this guy is? You think this is a guy who just doesn't like Trump for some other reason?
So Joe, I just want to clarify for you. I know this wasn't a question, but when I ask you if something came out, and you say it's obvious from the get-go, what I hear is you're making this up. I just want the transparency.
No. For you thinking that he shot him for any other reason than he's the one running for president is you making shit up.
I didn't say that though.
You're inferring that. I am inferring the most obvious thing.
No, I'm not. And I didn't say anything like that.
This guy shot Trump for political reasons.
When did I say that he shot him for a reason other than that he's running for president?
You pretending that he didn't shoot him for any other reason but that.
You said that he shot him because the left called him Orange Man Bad or Orange Hitler, right? Is that a fair... You claim that's why... That's what led to that.
The demonizing around him has been so extreme for over the...
From the left, specifically from the left, right? Is that... I want to make sure I'm...
large majority from the left, yes, and then this much of the right.
Is it the sum total of that led to him getting shot, or just from the left?
I don't hear see the right, this tiny section of the right who is against him isn't on this gigantic bullhorn spreading the Orange Hitler shit. The left is. The right are just people who don't like him, and they don't have the biggest voice.
I just want to see if you can. I'm trying to think of.
What is your theory here?
I'm trying to think of a less intense way to say this.
What is your theory? Why do you think this guy shot at him?
If it's the case that people from the left and right, let's say it was 99% the left, 1% the right, would you say it's all bad or just the left is bad? If they did it, right?
They all suck. They all suck.
Right?
The rhinos
it's such an easy thing to say, right? Like anybody who calls him Hitler, it's bad, right? Like it's not just that the left calls him Hitler, right? I don't understand why this is a difficult.
The left calls him Hitler.
That's fine. I just want to see if we can get to some understandable place of like. You said it's mostly the left that does it. The right does it a tiny bit, and I asked, okay, is it all bad or is it just bad when the left does it? And I just want to get that, like,
the left
basic.
Definitely. Yes, I'm giving you that. I'm surprised you don't know this, but the left definitely has a much crazier.
I'm not saying that it's equal or that it's. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying anybody who engages in that, it's bad, right? Because you're only talking about the left. I'm saying, okay, let's say it was 99% the left who did it, then the left is 99% to blame, right? But it's all bad, okay. Right? Well, I don't know. Why are you defensive about this? I just don't get it.
I'm not being defensive. I'm trying to get answers. I'm trying to get direct answers that like, so right now I don't know what this gets us to, but I have very specific things that I'm trying to find out from you, and we keep on getting lost going down these different roads that don't matter. They just don't matter to the question. So you're trying to obfuscate the intentions of the shooter. What do you think he shot at?
How am I trying to obfuscate the intentions of the shooter?
Can you? I'm asking you the question, Socrates. Why do you think he took a shot at Trump?
Okay, why do I think that the shooter shot at Trump?
Yes.
The things that we know about him are that he was crazy mentally ill.
I didn't ask you like what came out on the news or what came out in any report.
You want to like what's my conspiracy theory about it? Like what does my intuition tell me?
Intuition.
My intuition tells me that he was a troubled kid who was bullied in school, who wanted to shoot. I don't know if it was specifically Trump, definitely a politician.
He could have shot anybody.
It's hard to say 100% whether he was like the closest or whether it was Trump specifically. It could have been because of the Epstein connection. I don't know if that was a rumor, if that's true, if that was ever confirmed. But it's like mixed facts, right? He donated $15 to Act Blue. He was a registered Republican for years. His parents were hippies. He was in part of the rifle club, but he wasn't good enough, so they kicked him out.
Do you know why they only show his 8th grade picture?
What? I've seen other pictures of him.
That one picture that they keep floating in every news story.
I'm so curious to hear. Yeah, wait. What? Please tell me.
One picture, the most common picture of him.
I'm genuinely super curious. Yeah, because he looks like a sweet little boy.
Do you know? Yeah, they make it. They only choose that one.
Oh, I see. Like, is this like because he's white, or what's the connection? What does that have to? They don't choose
he's dressing in drag or anything like that. They choose.
Oh, there's pictures where he's dressing in drag.
Where he's basically putting on makeup and putting on, stuff like
that. Can you send that to me? I've never heard of that.
Unpacking. No, this is not what we're going to do. That kind of stuff is coming out, and his connections to different.
It's coming out where?
Yeah, there's an interview with one of his classmates. I could send that to you, but I'm not going to.
I mean, there's interviews with his classmates where they say that he's like super conservative, right? You've seen those.
They never. No, I haven't.
No. Oh, sure. I can send you that. Yeah, here.
Yeah, you could have been a conservative at one point.
No, like right then.
Change,
I mean, do you see how we're arguing over like, whose guy was he? Is that productive? I don't.
We don't even have to argue. I'm not arguing over that. You are. I'm not. He's the one who shot at Trump. What are you talking about?
You said that he was dressing in drag.
That's our guy. That's our guy. Why would they?
Oh, that's your guy. Okay.
Well, why would he shoot at our guy?
Well,
why would he shoot at Trump? That's our guy. Why would he shoot at it if he's one of us?
Maybe he felt like it wasn't a real conservative. I don't. Are you asking me to divine what his?
Real conservatives don't shoot at the political opponents. That's not what conservatives do.
A conservative has never shot at a political opponent? I don't understand. What is this?
I didn't say that. I said that is not the thing that we believe in.
Okay? I never said that it was. I never said that it was.
Fair. Okay, then stop referencing other conservative one-off events. Okay.
I haven't referenced anything.
You tried to say, conservatives never shoot at other conservatives, as if that has anything to do with the.
That's what it sounded like. What you were. That's what you just said. Maybe you didn't mean to say those words, but you said the statement. A conservative would never shoot at a political rival.
I'm sorry you don't speak in a colloquial manner, but usually when I say we don't do that,
you mean like real whatever. I think a real lefty wouldn't do that
in general,
either.
I'm not saying that there aren't exceptions to the rule, but do I have to say that every time I say we conservatives, except for some of the tiny little guys around the edges,
it
don't
depends
believe
on
in
what
shooting
kind
the
of
political
point you're trying
opponent.
to
If I need
make.
to really spell it,
I mean, I don't know what I don't know what's in your head unless you tell me. I only know like
how
what I hear out of your
okay,
mouth.
this is unreal. I've seriously never dealt with this, so you just got to give me a second.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because I believe. Hold on, let me tell you. If you're being real right now, I apologize.
Yeah.
But up until then, it sounds like incredibly bad faith. It sounds like just this David Pac-Man like strategy
I'll
where he
take that
pretends
as
to
a-
like. Yeah, no, this guy he does it all the time. It's this like rhetorical like thing he does.
I
that
think
just
I know what
drives
you're
me
talking
fucking
about.
crazy
Yeah.
because I feel like it's a total cop out of the conversation. Like when you make a general statement and he goes, "Do you mean all of the?" And he always does.
I mean,
but I'm not making anything
Joe,
up.
when we're
I'm
dealing
just
with
repeating what you
generalities,
said to me.
like we need to
He
be
always
really
does that.
specific with how we speak because we're talking about the left, the right, conservative. Like these are general
Oh,
groups.
my
We
goodness.
need to break out of like these
I-
generalizing. So like,
Okay, if I just say to you, men like women, are you gonna say like, wait, that doesn't make any sense? What do you mean?
it
Men
depends
like
what
women?
kind of
You
point
mean
you're
all
trying to
men
make.
like women?
It totally depends on the context.
It just sounds
Because
like
we're not
bad
in a
faith
pub
to me.
right now.
Like what I'm like you can't do a vibe check enough to where it's like, oh, I know what you're saying. I've heard it.
No, I can't.
Like,
I right in this moment, I genuinely
okay,
can't.
all
Right?
right. I'll pretend that you're an alien and you don't like speak with other people on a regular basis. So
I mean, that's.
okay, if that's what you want me to do, I'll do that.
I think that's
And
probably
if it helps you.
probably what it would take. But Joe, you have to understand, you're saying statements, and I'm literally interpreting those statements. If there's kind of some colloquial meaning you want me to take away, then you need to clue me into that.
I'm sorry.
Okay?
Look, it's I've spoken to a lot of humans, okay, in my time, and when I hear this is just comes off as incredibly bad faith. I'm sorry if it's not intentional by you. But I'm just
it's
giving
not
you
bad
my
faith.
typical experience, and I gave you.
I'm trying to
I gave you
interpret
an
your
example.
words.
What?
It's not bad faith.
I'll
I'm trying to
be
interpret your words.
extremely. Yeah, I know, but the thing is that when I say conservatives live by principle.
Why did
a
you
lot
say
of us
that? What was the
Christians.
context? Tell me about the context of that, because that's the part I'm missing.
My context
is
of
what
it
was
is
the...
that this fucking guy that shot at Trump is not one of us.
You think he's
not a
bullshit,
fucking-
and even if he says a conservative, you say I repudiate that shit because that's bullshit. That's not how we do things, right? Is that the point? Was that the point?
That's what I'm saying. Is
Okay.
that so? Attributing
Joe,
it to anything that other than he was anti-Trump, I feel is dishonest.
Okay,
He's
Joe.
obviously wanted to end Trump's life because he doesn't like Trump, right?
So here's where I'm going to half connect with you, half push back. If you say this is bullshit, this is not how we do things, this is not part of our philosophy, that's fair, and I'm with you. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear other conservatives say, this is bullshit. We don't do things like this. Fuck that. Even if like the facts come out that he was like a whatever, that's bullshit.
Uh-huh.
Like he's not one of us, right? We as a collective say that he's not with us, right? That's fair to say. But what you can't say is, well, a conservative wouldn't do that. It must have been a leftist. And I don't know if that's what you're trying to say, but a lot of people do say that.
Socratease? Why can't I say that?
Do you think that we want him?
Hold on.
Maybe you do. Maybe that's the whole point. Because we don't. I'll tell you straight up.
Historically, you know who has shot the
Joe,
other side?
Joe, I want you to understand that what you're saying right now is not building trust. You're talking about, oh, historically he's one of you guys. That's not a good faith way to operate on this.
Why is that?
Because if you get to say he's bullshit, he's not with us, you can't say, oh, he's definitely with you, no matter what you say, right? Do you see how unfair that is?
He's definitely with you. I'm saying I'm saying for anyone to ever make like this is I'm not going to aim this directly at you, but I just want to make a general point that anybody on the left trying to make a point that this guy was a registered conservative, that is bullshit coming from the left.
Wait.
That is bullshit.
He was a registered. That's a fact. Whether in his heart he was a conservative, we don't know. He's fucking dead, right?
To think that they made that they're bringing that point up to mean anything is bullshit.
I mean,
what the fuck is the point of mentioning that? Does it does not matter?
Do you want an answer to that?
Any supporter of Trump ever, and the ones who have like from Lincoln to MLK, all shot by leftists. So I don't know, like
all shot by leftists. Wasn't MLK shot by like the CIA or something?
Shot by Democrats. Shot by the Democrats. MLK, yeah, they do a little more digging there. But anyway,
so it's Democrats who always kill people. They're an evil party who loves to murder people. Is that what you're saying? Do you see how this kind of like generalizing is super unhelpful? You're not turning down the volume on the violent rhetoric at all. You're turning it up.
No. That's bullshit because we have never done the violent rhetoric.
You've never done it, but we've done it because we're the evil ones and we need to be stopped because we're evil. Do you see how what you're doing right now is turning up the volume on this? Why can't we both say, well, we're against violence, let's not do that? Like, do you see how it sounds like you don't want to do that?
All right, let's see that. Let's demonstrate. Let me demonstrate that. Let me see if we're both against violence. Okay, so. Do you think the comparisons of Trump to Hitler are fair in any way, shape, or form?
So I'm gonna preface what I'm saying by just highlighting exactly the question that you asked me. Do you think they're fair in any shape or form? If I say that there's a tinge there, I don't want you to think that I'm saying he's literally Hitler and he's exactly the same as Hitler.
Sizable. What if he
is there a sizable comparison? 50%? I don't know. Is he 30%? 20%? I would say yes.
And
yes.
That's
yes.
Insanely high. Okay, go ahead. Justify that.
Okay. So when I don't know if you've heard like the Piers Morgan, he's done like a bunch of panels where he brought Destiny on, he's brought lots of people on, and he said, is he really Hitler? Hitler killed 12 million people, killed 6 million Jews. Trump hasn't done anything like that. That's a very unreasonable way to make these kinds of comparisons. Why did you have a reaction to that?
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm listening. You think... Do you think that's unreasonable? I'm just responding to that.
So maybe this is a context that you're missing. So I'm Jewish. When I think about
I'm not missing that context.
Well, you may be missing what that means because, right? When I think about is somebody Hitler, I'm not thinking about have they killed 6 million Jews yet. I'm thinking about why are you having a reaction to that?
It's just so unbelievable to me. It's just so like the thought that he could even lead us slightly in that direction is just.
It's something that I have to think about. I can't just
to me.
I can't just push that aside. I don't have the luxury of just saying, well, it couldn't happen here. It's something I have to seriously consider in the world.
Okay, so this is the problem. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You think we have
It's not like I only consider Republican candidates or whatever. It's just generally something that I consider in the world. Could this, is this leading in this direction? Yeah. That's a thing that I think about.
Look how tolerant us conservatives are by contrast. We watched Joe Biden come up. We're like, he's gonna fuck it up. He's gonna fuck everything up. Mm-hmm. And then we watched him do it. Like we watched him. He start shitting his pants, and we're like, oh, he's shitting his pants. And it's like we watched him fuck it up, like fuck up Afghanistan. We watched him fuck up like domestic oil production. We watched
Mm-hmm.
him fuck up the economy, fuck up gas prices. We watched him fuck it all up,
Mm-hmm.
and all we did was stand there and go, "Oh God, look, he's doing it." Oh, and all we did was fucking complain. And we never once said that he was evil. We just said he was dopey and old and stupid. But when Trump saves the economy, like has the best economy in 40 years, lowest like unemployment numbers in 40 years, like everything's going fucking great, and leftists are like, oh, he's 30% has a chance of being Hitler. This is the stark contrast to me, and it makes no fucking sense. It just boggles my mind because I'm paying attention to their effects on the real world, and Trump has had such like a positive, like he had a great run as far as I'm concerned. The world was in a pretty great place, and now that the world is shit, they see the return of Trump as the 30% chance lead up to fascism. Can you explain to me how that's supposed to make sense? Because I can't make any sense of it at all.
I mean, I thought that was the point of us talking, so that you could hear my perspective.
Please.
What was that? Was it something else?
Please. I'm just giving you the complete picture of where I'm coming from and how it makes no sense to me. Please make it make sense.
I can't make it make sense for you, Joe. You can ask me
Yeah,
questions.
sure you can. I use logic. I obey the laws of logic. You could logically
Joe,
make it make sense.
What did Joe Biden do to fuck up oil production?
Don't do this. Tell me why.
Because it's the most that it's ever been in every country ever.
You're obfuscating. You're obfuscating.
How
Tell
am I
me
obfuscating?
how. Because my point was, under a good economy and everything going good, Trump was demonized, and under this shit that the shitty economy, we guaranteed is not anybody else's fault, but the captain who's at the helm. That's who the voters are unsatisfied with. Tell all of them who are going to, oh wait, he's not even in office anymore. He was so bad, and he had such a terrible performance. He's not even there. I forgot this whole time. He was so bad that his own party kicked him out.
Wait, what?
What?
I'm
just saying, I honestly forgot. I honestly forgot such an important point. This guy, Biden, the guy who supposedly was so good, so much better than Trump, has now been taken out by his own party and replaced by something else. But yet Donald Trump, he's the one that was going to lead everyone to doom and gloom and Hitler, right? And somehow that rhetoric is accurate, but our rhetoric of Joe Biden isn't.
Joe, I think you're under a misapprehension of what the comparison that I'm considering. Again, I can't speak for other people, although there's probably some overlap of what's in my mind versus other people. I think when you hear historians or different people talk about like, hey, I'm concerned about some troubling similarities between Trump's rise to power and Hitler's rise to power. What you hear is Trump is really, really bad. He's just really, really bad. And that's not really what the comparison is.
No, I hear the reasons why he's bad. Trust me, I do. And none of them.
Well, there's some reasons that I think he's bad that I don't think have anything to do with like making him like a fascist or whatever necessarily. Like I have things that I think I have issues with him that don't necessarily tie in with any. That's like it's a very kind of specific form of analysis, right? So the kind of things for me that are concerning about Trump that feel like they have some kind of concerning relation.
Look, we can be more concise here. I know what you're trying to say. Can you just get to the point already? Tell me what
I mean, it's literally about to
done or voiced. Yeah, I know, but you took a long time to get there. Okay. I already know the question I want answered. Okay. Go ahead and tell it to me. Why is he so bad? Why is he even close to Hitler? Why is he even 30% close to
Joe,
Hitler? Tell me.
I feel like you're not listening to me, because what I literally just said is that he's not Hitler because he's bad. That's not the analysis that I'm doing. And then I was about to say what the
How could
analysis
you?
is. The things that I see that are concerning about Trump's rise to power are his reliance on pushing his most fanatical followers into more and more of an alternate reality. When his Kellyanne Conway, what was her title? It's the person who talks to the press secretary, when she was talking about alternate facts, when he said from the very beginning, I had the most well-attended inauguration of any president ever, and he looked at the cameras and it was like almost empty. Just from like day one, this kind of like non-stop level of lying, and the way that that's accelerated and accelerated to where you have QAnon that are people that think that he's still president.
Joe Biden
That
lies too. Big fucking deal. All presidents lie.
Joe, you're not
What's
listening to me.
I am listening to you. What am I not responding to something you just said? You just said the level
I'm
of
talking
lying.
about
From our
a
perspective,
high
your guys lie all the
constant.
time. We're getting nowhere. No, we see the same. It's the same to us too. That's why it's a wash.
Okay, let's go with something that's pretty different to start off with.
Go ahead.
There was a group of people who were huge fans of Trump that felt like you felt, like maybe something was kind of fucky with the election that happened, like right in the aftermath of COVID, and they thought that the election was actually stolen, and they went to the Capitol to stop the vote for president from going through, and some of them, it seemed like, were even ready to kill Mike Pence if he didn't, as Trump said, do the right thing and certify the fake electors that he put in place. I mean, I don't know why you're like laughing about this. Like everything I'm saying is, off of 8chan, right?
How many people are in this group?
The number of people who stormed the Capitol.
No. You said that there was a small group of people who believe
in the span of the country, it's like, I'm not demonizing all conservatives or all. I'm saying there's like a relatively small group of people who did this.
Stop. I need to clarify. I need to ask clarifying questions to what you just said. So you're saying a group of people went into the Capitol with the purpose of stopping the vote. How many? All of the people? Are you saying everybody within that group that went into the Capitol that day, you're saying they all had this goal in their head?
Nope, I'm not saying that.
Oh, okay. Can you clarify for me? How many out of this group of people had that goal in their mind?
Certainly the people who are part of organized.
How many? What percentage of that group that went into the Capitol that day?
What percentage of the entire crowd had like a very directed, strategic? It's probably like well under 10% who had like a really like specific strategic kind of idea. People who had bombs, people who had guns, stuff like that was like very like relatively small. The people who
there was like 2 guns.
Sure. The overall like percent of the people who generally wanted to be part of that. I mean, I don't think a lot of people came in there just like, oh hey, there's like a crowd. Maybe this is a tour group. I don't think there's a lot of people like that. I think the majority of people were like on track with that general idea. The people who actually were like, like coordinating stuff and moving in squads and stuff was like relatively small. Yeah, Proud Boys, Oath Keepers. Yeah.
But I'm trying to be hyper specific here. You say relatively small. How small are we talking? Like you're saying 10% of the crowd had this goal in mind, and they were like psychically linked with Trump in order to pull this off, or
No, he gave some speeches earlier in the day.
and the speech said, "Go down there and stop the count from being."
Yeah, he said that they're trying to take like your country from you, and they're going to take it if you don't fight.
He said
Yeah.
to go down there and stop the count. That's what he said, specifically that?
I don't think he ever said those exact words. No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we got to move on then.
Yeah. No, we
so
can move on. That's
how
fine.
Many,
Yeah.
Yeah. How many? So what percent? You're saying 10% of these people. How did they get this
I think
idea?
under 10%. Yeah.
Under 10%. Okay.
Yeah.
So like 8%.
Yeah, maybe 7%. You know, it's not something
Like
that
7%. Okay.
that I researched for this conversation.
So an extremely small amount of this crowd
Mhm.
with like 2 guns and a Piccolo Pete went into the Capitol.
And they had like they
thought
had
were
like
gonna
zip
stop
cuffs.
the
They
vote.
were planning to get probably any politician they could get their hands on. I mean, some
Yeah,
of them
the-
tried to get
the-
onto the
okay.
floor. A woman was actually shot for trying to get into the
Uh-huh.
chambers. I believe
Yeah,
a
I saw
police
that,
officer was murdered by the crowd.
Uh-huh.
A bunch were injured.
Yep.
I don't know why you're smiling about
Yeah.
like
Because I don't know what's the point of this. What is the point of what we know what happened on January 6th. Why are we going?
I don't know if we do. I mean, how
Yeah, we
how
do.
would you describe
we
like
do.
what happened? That was just like
A riot broke out.
mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't see Trump being responsible for that. He didn't
Mhm.
order them to go down there and have a riot. Obviously.
What makes
It
you
wasn't
think
his
that there was
speech.
something like fucky with the election? Did Trump ever say anything about how maybe something, fucky would happen with the election? I feel like he said that a ton of times. I remember with my own ears hearing him say
That's fine.
that they were
Look,
going to
in
steal the
good
election.
faith, I'm going to answer this one question, but this was not the.
Sure.
To be fair.
Yeah.
To
You
be
know what? We
fair,
can do the format, but
the format.
yeah. Mhm.
This is not the format you agreed to, but I'll answer this one question. So what was something fucky? I mentioned at the beginning that due to the COVID lockdown restrictions and due to the massive increase in mail-in voting,
Mhm.
that there could have very well been a very, not a 0% chance of some fuckery going. Okay, that's exactly what I said. So I'm not going to go too deep into explaining that, but that's exactly where I'm.
I have lots of
lead it.
follow-up questions. Maybe another stream. We can swap the.
Maybe I don't even know if that's safe to talk about on here, but
It's safe to talk about on Twitch. I mean, or I don't know. What's your percent going to be? Maybe there's like a cutoff where it's less.
You know what?
less
It definitely wasn't. I know it definitely was not an insurrection. That's what it wasn't.
Okay,
I
as
know
long
it
as we
was
know
a
that for
riot.
sure, then I
So-
feel better already.
Yeah, we kind of then that's another kind of recent event is after this shooting going on, and this is coming from the left because okay, here's the thing.
What's coming from the
saying
left?
like, oh, the left doesn't support this, the left doesn't support this. Well, then out comes Destiny, probably the biggest leftist
The
streamer.
biggest leftist there is.
And yeah, one of the biggest leftist
Mark's
streamers.
Reborn.
I don't. He's on the left. He's not on our. He's not our guy. He's not on. I think he's kind of a grifter in a way because he'll just step into the most popular position of the time and just occupy that position.
That's fascinating.
And-
that's actually okay. Yeah, that's fine. I don't.
Yeah, it's
I'm
possible
not
he
here
could
to
just
defend.
be a fucking grifter. He could just be putting his finger to the wind and thinking, "Hey, I think I'll occupy this position today."
I think you're right, and he's probably just going after whatever he thinks are popular. He doesn't want to have friction, so he just
or he's
goes with the
giving
wind.
it in some places. I think he's giving his genuine opinion. And after the shooting of Trump, he's become completely fucking unhinged, and he's only gained more followers, which is fucking scary in some way. He lost a lot, but then he also gained a lot.
It's a sad indictment of our country that you can say more extreme stuff and you gain more followers. Look at Haas.
No, guys,
that's
there's
fucked up.
nobody on our side.
There's
This is
nobody.
I'm trying to
I mean,
get to you. Okay, look, listen to me, Socrates.
Yeah.
There is no voice. There is no voice on our side as loud as his saying anything close to the kind of shit he's saying. Now, for those who may not know who Destiny is, I'll just like go over it really
It's
quickly.
fine. Anybody who's going to hear this
Political
knows.
streamer. Yeah, he's a political streamer on the left. Went on Piers Morgan saying, you know what, that firefighter guy who got shot in the crowd, fuck him, fuck Trump, all that shit.
Mhm.
Like if you are if you're in a crowd of Trump supporters, you deserve to get shot if someone shoots at Trump because
No,
Trump's an insurrectionist.
I don't think that's
and
what he
all
said.
You guys who support him.
I think he said.
He said, I'm making fun of you on Twitter the next day.
Yeah, he said if you're one of his fans and you get shot at Trump rallies.
Yeah, he said if you're one of his fans, if you're one of if you're a
but
you're
he
one
didn't
of
say
the
you deserve to
right-wing
get shot.
fans-
He said like he's not going to lose sleep over it, or
No,
he's not
he
gonna...
said I'm going to make fun of you the next day on Twitter because
For sure.
fuck Trump, fuck his.
Well, he said his
supporters.
if his fans do
Insurrectionists.
that. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He
I mean, of course it does.
Okay, was the firefighter who got shot? The firefighter who got shot was
I
one of
don't.
his
I don't think he
fans?
was a
That's what
DGGer.
he-
No.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Maybe,
no, he
you know,
wasn't a
it's possible,
DGGer.
but I
He
don't
got
think so.
shot
Yeah.
And in the clip, he's saying "fuck that guy."
Mm-hmm.
That guy who got shot.
Yeah,
so it's clearly not
that's
his
true.
fan.
That's
He clearly
accurate.
thinks,
Yeah.
Trump's not a DGGer. He clearly thinks if Trump got shot,
Trump is a DGGer.
He told Trump, he said that my only regret is the guy didn't practice more.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if he did, then
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Here's the thing. If he did practice more, maybe he would have been on the rifle club, and he wouldn't have become a shooter in the first place. Because he got kicked off of the rifle club because he wasn't a good enough shot. That probably helped drive him to be as isolated and like antisocial that he ended up doing that in the first place. It's like a sick, twisted irony of some kind. I don't know.
But yet when we want to say that about a school shooter, people on the left want to blame it on the gun and not the.
You know what? I think
shooter was mentally unwell. Yeah.
I think school children have like too much intense rhetoric, and they maybe they had it coming. I don't know. School kids. That's my take.
Okay. Do you believe that it doesn't matter? Yes, school kids say all kinds of crazy shit. Okay, do they deserve to get shot over it?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. It's a tough call.
You know, kids in high school drop all kinds of f-bombs of all kinds.
It's true.
They say all
Look
kinds
at their
of crazy
Twitter
shit.
accounts.
So
Yeah, I don't know.
They're saying that a teenager never said anything that would have.
They definitely said
like,
something edgy. I'm
edgy.
sure.
Edgy,
Look at
right.
their
I don't think anyone's.
Snapchat. Is that what kids?
This doesn't matter. Look, I'm going to make this. This is as clear as it gets. The guy on the left is saying it's okay. All this rhetoric builds up around Trump being a Nazi. He's going to ruin the country, take away democracy, blah blah blah. Someone shoots at him, and then people on the left, like Destiny, say, "Oh, I'm just sad that he missed." You know, like, "Oh, that guy and that firefighter." Who got killed? Well,
so
fuck
somebody
him,
who calls
Like,
Trump
he
Hitler, or
fucking-
somebody who jokes about somebody getting hurt in political violence, like, how written off should they be? Completely written off.
If somebody's somebody is dead as a result of an assassination.
Oh, just if they're dead.
And that person, this is what we're talking about. Somebody got shot. Somebody got killed, and this motherfucker is making fun of him, saying that, oh, well, he was at a Trump rally. Well, what did he expect, Like, you're going to catch a bullet. So, people are going to take shots at this guy. Hey, what are you, stupid? And then that was one of his jokes. And he was like, hey, any conservative who wants to, like, challenge me on this, I'll get tickets, front row seats to the next Trump rally. Yeah, come on, dude. Like, we all know what this guy said. And that the people on the left agree with him.
So there are people on the left who have compared Trump to Hitler. There have been some people on the right who've compared Trump to Hitler. I don't know. Can you guess where I'm going with this?
He's not one of us.
Huh?
He's not one. They're not one of us.
Okay. Would you ever vote for somebody who called Trump Hitler?
They can redeem themselves. Sure.
They can redeem themselves. Okay, never mind. So obviously, you know where I'm going is like J.D. Vance said that Trump is maybe America's Hitler, and he chose him as his running mate.
What better person to choose as a running mate?
That's true. That eminently qualifies somebody. Yeah, that's the best qualification is calling Trump Hitler. That's what. That's probably how we should choose.
Somebody who had a change of heart, who saw the truth and had a change of heart about me, I would completely endorse to be on my side. That is what, I am a Christian after all. That is what we preach. We preach, that you save yourself. That guy just saved himself. Great.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. And if Destiny ever says like, hey, I don't feel that way anymore, then you'll be like, oh, cool. Okay, forgiven, right?
I don't feel that way anymore. Good luck, buddy. Hey, I'll forgive him. But if he's not completely forgiven to me until he pledges himself to Christ. But
wait, did JD? I actually don't know anything about him. And he's like a businessman.
He's a Christian.
He's a Christian. Okay. So
yes.
He can call Trump America's Hitler, and he doesn't have to do all that much to get out of it.
He saw the truth.
He saw the truth. He saw the truth that Trump's a good ticket.
He saw the truth that why would Trump pick him? Right? If he didn't have a change of heart before that.
I mean, it seemed like.
This is a non sequitur. None of this.
So we can move on to the other thing.
None of this matters.
Joking about somebody getting hurt with political violence.
They learn they're wrong, and then they come back groveling to the guy who they were wrong about, and they're like, "Oh my God, I was so wrong about you. How could I have been so wrong?" And that guy forgives him for it. He forgives him for it and says, "Be my vice president."
Why is it up to Trump to forgive him? What does that have to do with anything?
What do you mean?
Trump didn't get killed. That firefighter got killed.
I'm talking about J.D. Vance. If he called him a Hitler,
but J.D. Vance called Trump America's Hitler, and then this shooter shot the fireman. What does this have to do with Trump forgiving him?
What? You brought up J.D. Vance.
Yeah, I did, because he called Trump America's Hitler, and now he's running for office.
Okay. Because he was wrong about Trump, obviously.
Did he ever actually say that? I'm not even like I don't have a quote prepared. I'm just.
What are you fucking talking about here? He's his vice president pick now because yes, of course he changed his opinion on.
But he got the firefighter killed.
He did not. You're saying do you have evidence to support that, Socratease?
Oh wait, if I don't have evidence to link these events, then I shouldn't make that claim.
No, I told you. I gave my case. The left has the loudest fucking bullhorn when it comes to calling Trump Hitler. Not little, people like one person like J.D. Vance.
One little person who might be president if Trump dies in a couple years from a heart attack.
Yeah, sure. That's great. Yeah.
Just the president of the United States.
Voice
some little guy.
This is the bullhorn of the left, this big, calling Trump Orange Hitler, and you're talking about this guy.
No, I think it's more like this. I think J.D. Vance is like this, and the left is like this.
He's like this now.
Like
when
this.
He made that, No. How big was he when he made that statement?
He was
this.
Joe, I don't think this is a serious analysis. Right?
He's only this now.
It's kind of like media influence. Okay, so the question about joking about somebody being a victim of political violence, are you aware of what happened to Paul Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi's husband? He was like beaten in the head with a hammer. He almost died.
Yeah.
Are you aware of Trump's response to that event? Which was to joke about it.
He made a joke. I don't know what the joke was.
He was like, how's Nancy Pelosi's husband doing? Oh, she's horrible. That lady sucks. Like that was what he said.
That's it. That's the joke. How's he doing?
Yeah. So, do you see how? So just wrapping this all up. So here's Destiny, and I'm not standing Destiny or steel manning Destiny or whatever, or I guess I'm steel manning Destiny. But Destiny's perspective. Here's a guy who's a politician who made fun of somebody being the victim of political violence, who's the victim of political violence.
It wasn't his running. The person he's running against.
Wait, what?
It's not the president. It wasn't Joe Biden.
Huh?
It wasn't an assassination attempt on your political opponent for president. This is as serious as it gets.
What does that have to do with?
Wait, what? An assassination attempt on the person running for president is as serious as it gets. Laughing at a guy because their house got broken into or whatever,
and he got beaten almost to death with a hammer. He had his skull was cracked. He was almost killed.
Yeah, I don't think anyone endorses that. I don't think anyone endorses that.
Trump joked about it.
Okay,
he made light of it.
He wanted it to happen?
Did Destiny want that to happen? He joked about it.
Yeah,
after
sure.
the fact. I guess that's fine.
He wanted the shooter to not miss. He said as much. He said he wanted the shooter to not to miss. He says that's my only regret about the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's being edgy. But sure, but
he wanted him dead. No, he's not being edgy. That's what he truly believes. This guy's an
insurrectionist. You know that's what he, I mean,
that's what,
personally, even if
he says it all the time.
Right, from a purely strategic view, I don't think so. When you're talking about how bad is Trump,
do you see how dangerous this is? That doesn't fucking matter. He's got a huge fucking following, and people are going to take it, even if you think he's doing it for monetary reasons.
Wait,
the people listening to him.
No. What? No, I'm saying that if Trump were assassinated, it would accelerate the rise of fascism, and it would be counterproductive. So, from a purely strategic point of view, if you wanted to stop fascism or whatever, this wouldn't even be a good way to go about it, right? So there's literally no reason to, right? There's no reason to succeed. There's no reason to fail. It would be a bad idea if you were against Trump or whatever, right? There's no strategic reason to do it. Right?
We're not moving. We're not advancing this conversation. So we probably need to switch it up or something. All I'm trying to do is show the contrast in rhetoric, and then the just kind of endorsement of that kind of thing after it happens, not even pulling it back from some people on the left, not even pulling it back and saying oh man, this is terrible. We shouldn't do stuff like this. Instead, going the other way, saying, no, I'm done with people like this. They tried to coup the country. They had it coming, blah, blah, blah. I totally, and for you to say that, that he's got a 30% chance of being Hitler.
No, I didn't say that.
The same. I asked you earlier.
Mm-hmm. And then you interrupted me when I tried to answer.
I heard you say 30%. That's all. That was the only question I'm answering. Tell me.
Just what percent? What's the likelihood of Trump becoming Hitler?
No. How close to Hitler in the way he wants to govern, as far as just governing the country? How close is he to Hitler?
So, is it okay if I tally these things up and then give you an answer at the end when I have the things in front of me? No, you want something at the upfront. If I tell you 10%, would that be comforting?
I want your honest answer. Yeah, you don't have to comfort me. I want to know because you said 30%, and then I wanted to ask you, how did you get there?
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah.
I feel like that's the important part. The percent is kind of it's the factors that I feel are meaningful.
Okay, I see. Now I remember what happened. I tried to ask you to justify it, and you said
I was taking too long.
You brought up the Capitol, but the thing is, here's the problem.
I didn't bring up the Capitol.
You were calling him Hitler before the Capitol thing, before it happened.
Yeah, so, I didn't bring up the Capitol in response to that. I brought up the Capitol as okay, here's the thing that's super different between the left and right or whatever, in terms of actions. But
I'm asking.
If you're curious, I can explain to you from my perspective why somebody might draw those parallels.
First, my first question is, what percentage, how how close in kind to Hitler is he? Like, what percentage would you put on that? And then I'll ask you why, you think that why you gave that number.
Sure. Maybe I'll revise to like 25%. I don't know. It's tough. Like it depends what aspect exactly you're comparing.
Okay, let me ask you this: how close is Kamala Harris to Hitler?
I would say pretty low.
Okay.
Yeah, she's super. What's the word? Like entrenched. She's super. You could say deep state even if you want. I don't know, but she's very much like establishment. She's straight up establishment.
So what number would you put on her? Like how close?
It's
like
very very low. So in terms of just like being a politician, and I don't know, like there's probably a baseline 5% for being a politician who's like not very genuine.
We know more about Obama.
Obama is arguably more like Hitler than Kamala because he's like, sure. he is charismatic, but he's establishment. He's like even less ideological, so it's kind of like it's low. So it's low.
I want you to name the things that made Hitler uniquely Hitler, right? Like because that's the whole point, right?
No.
When they call Trump Hitler, okay, when people you may disagree, but the thing is when people call Trump Hitler, they're only talking about the things that are inherently negative about him.
No, I disagree.
They're not saying they're not saying he's a great speaker. They're not saying he's Hitler for the reasons of like influence that we would give to any influencer. Those are not the reasons that they call him.
Sure. If I say that he was like Mussolini or that he was like Che Guevara or like or he's like Mao or he's like
Why do you think they call him Hitler? Why do you think they chose Hitler?
I think because he's somebody who has those semi-revolutionary qualities, and he's right wing, as opposed to like Mao was left wing, Stalin's left wing, Che's left wing, so those don't really feel like quite as apt. So it'd be more like a Hitler or a Mussolini would be more like, I think, the comparisons that people would make.
So what? Why? No. Well, they pick Hitler all the time.
Sure.
Hitler's the most popular.
Okay, if you want just like a straight up, a lot of Americans don't know history other than World War II. So if you're gonna choose a historical comparison of a person who's bad, you're probably not digging too deep in the barrel, right?
Who's bad? Why did they choose a person who's bad to represent Trump? Why? Let's just go to a super basic question.
Okay.
Why is he bad? Why is he so bad that he has to be demonized the way we would never demonize Joe Biden?
Sure. Because he lies constantly about every single thing to the point at which truth and reality itself... You have to let me answer. Like,
we agreed it's a wash.
We did not agree.
Yes, we do, because we think
what do you mean? Yes, we do. You can't...
We think that about you guys. We think you are the liars too. So that's a wash.
Sure, but that's not how that works, right?
It is how it works.
If I say I'm rubber and you're glue, then that doesn't like.
Liars too.
I don't know. I can answer, or you can be defensive, or right?
No, it's just saying we can't. That's a point. That's a moot point because we both think that the other side is dishonest.
Do you think that it's empirically true that Joe Biden and Trump tell as the same number of lies or the same, I don't know, proportion of lies or per capita lies, however you want to?
If you want me to tally them up for you, I will, but it won't be on this. I'll gladly tally up the amount of like fact-checked untruths and just straight up goofy shit that he said. Yeah. Like we could just go over the debate alone and tally up the lie. Yeah. And dishonest and half truths. Yeah. But that's not important. What I'm saying is that each side perceives the other to be liars. So I don't think we need to say, oh well, we think he lies a lot. Like that's that's lost on me because I think the other side lies too.
I mean,
The audience
I
on both
think
sides.
I think the issue here is that I can say whatever, and it's all going to have zero impact if you aren't able to step into my shoes a little bit and walk with me on this ride and say like, okay, if that's your perspective, then I see where you're coming from. If every single thing I say you're gonna just say, well, we think that about you or whatever, then okay, I mean, right?
There's no point. There's no point because
So there's no point in dialogue, I guess, because we don't agree on everything.
For the sake of saving time, why would I let you walk me down a road I already know I'm going to say no to at the end? We would just be wasting time at that
then
point.
What's the point in us talking if you're just going to disregard whatever I say?
Because the point, I'm not disregarding whatever you said. I'm disregarding this one thing.
But you don't know what I'm going to say.
No, I'm saying it doesn't check out. It's not something unique to our side that Trump's a liar or whatever. It's
I believe it is. I believe that I could empirically show that.
And I could empirically show the opposite. So
I believe that you couldn't. I don't know if we want to make that like a thing, but
you don't think that I could show every time that the left lied, like, and it would just
wait, the left or Joe Biden and Donald Trump? Why are you changing it to a different thing now?
You want me to? Okay, you
I said Trump. I didn't say the right or whatever.
Well, here's the
thing. Like
Biden
Trump is really specific. This is a personality thing about him. Right? I'm not saying that this is like all. Sure, go. I don't care.
Biden's lies.
Go through them.
Okay, how about I combine them both? Because they're both gonna play the same role now, right? So if I combine both their lies together,
sure, okay,
that would be the fair thing to do.
Multiply it by 4, and it still doesn't. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Okay,
this is
that's what you believe. If that's what you believe, that's fine.
I don't even think this is like a super partisan thing. I feel like there's QAnon people who can recognize Trump. Trump kind of zhuzhes it up a little bit. He kind of puts little pizzazz on it. Like.
I'm not saying he doesn't lie. That's the thing. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying that so does the left. So does Joe Biden. Biden and Kamala Harris both lie too. Oh well, so what?
This isn't like Hitler wore pants. I'm not saying some banal like pointless thing.
He lies. Okay, look. I think he lies more. You think Trump lies more.
You just cut out. Test.
Test.
Sounds good. Yeah, that was just for a second.
Okay, look. I think Biden and Harris lie more. You think Trump lies more. It's a wash.
It's not a wash. I don't agree that it's a wash.
Okay, then if it's not a wash, then it's not. Then obviously what we got to do is like stack up, tally on both sides, and we're not going to waste the rest of the stream doing that. I might as well move. I'm
not saying that we have to resolve this, but you asked me for my perspective, and I'm going to tell you what it is, and I'm not going to agree that things that I'm seeing happen didn't happen. That's the whole point.
Okay, I don't think. Okay, look. To be fair, I don't think it's a wash either. I'm just trying to be charitable. I also don't think it's a wash.
Sure.
I just want us to move on because it's not useful. We're going to be hung up here forever.
I'm happy to move on, but if you interrupt me to tell me that you're just going to disregard it.
Interrupt you.
I mean,
because it's a waste of time. Look how much time we wasted on it. We should have been moved. You already agreed.
I mean, I was just going to say, explain my point of view.
That's your point of view. Okay, we have the same point of view.
I didn't finish. You interrupted me. I barely started. I got like one sentence in.
Okay, you really think this is going to be useful?
I have no idea. I have no idea if this is going to be useful. But I mean,
no, seriously,
I thought we were here to try.
Stop, pause, hold on, pause and ask yourself right now. At the end of everything you have to say, do you think I'm not going to turn around and say it's a wash again?
You might. I don't know. I thought the point of having a dialogue is so that we might be surprised, and we might listen to each other, and we might spend a moment in each other's shoes, in each other's perspective, and hear, oh, that's interesting. Oh, I didn't think about it that way. Oh, wow, I'm learning something new. I'm listening to a person with a different perspective.
I'm not interested. Because politicians have lied since from the beginning of being politicians ever existed. I'm not interested in whether and who lies more. Okay, what I'm interested in is who has the more extreme rhetoric about the other.
Okay, well
And
that's not what
what
I'm
I
interested
see
in. So don't ask me what I'm
is
interested in if you want to hear a different answer.
no, you're the one on trial here. You're the one whose beliefs are
This
on
is
trial.
exactly how Socrates behaves
This
on
is what you
trial.
agreed to.
read
You
the trial of
agreed to.
Socrates.
No, yes, you agreed to this. You agreed to this. So I am asking.
You
I am
agreed to
telling you.
this.
This is
I'm
what
not stuck in here with
interested
you.
me.
You're stuck in here with me.
I'm telling. Yes, exactly. So look, we're gonna do this. Okay, you're kicking and screaming already, but we're gonna do this. Look, this is what I'm interested in doing. What I have a problem with is the difference in rhetoric. I think it's too high on the left. I think the left needs to tone it the fuck down. People like Destiny should not be able to make $1 more, in my opinion, and should be completely disavowed. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you think about him and his. Like, what do you think about that? What do you think about what he has said in the aftermath of that shooting?
I don't think it's helpful because I think honestly speaking, there's a combination of like people who are right wing who are gonna be snowflakes about whatever he says, and there's normal people who are hearing somebody like joking about violence and they're just like, wait, what the fuck? And it's not like I can see where he's coming from. It's not my perspective. I am empathetic of generally like anybody who gets hurt ever, even if they're like a good person, bad person, whatever. Like I'm genuinely like very empathetic of people in the world. So I'm not going to be joking or elated about somebody getting hurt or somebody getting shot or somebody getting shot at. But I think to pretend that Destiny's the first person who's joked about political violence when literally Trump himself has joked about people on the other side getting attacked.
There's a spectrum here. The spectrum is one guy is dead in the audience, and the guy who almost died.
He didn't quite die.
Yeah,
so
he
it's,
didn't.
So it's funny.
Yeah, but he's the president. He's running for president. That's a pretty big fucking deal.
But he barely got hurt.
Don't want him to die.
Wait. So there's got to be some kind of like wait. So it's funny if let's say he totally missed.
There's a bigger.
Let's say he totally missed. Would it be funny?
The outcome of the country, Socrates. Hold on. What do you think is more serious to the outcome of the country? Nancy Pelosi's head getting bashed in, or Trump getting a bullet in the head?
I mean, Nancy Pelosi's a pretty high up politician. I don't think it's okay to.
Her husband got bopped in the head.
He got bopped in the. Oh, so you're making light of it. Oh, I guess it's fine. This is fun. We can joke about people getting hurt.
He got assaulted in the head. Okay.
That's funny.
Okay, Trump got blasted at. Do you want?
He got blasted at. Yeah.
What's a funny way to say that Trump?
Oh, they took a little pea shooter and he,
Yeah, he got pea shot. He got shot at with a pea shooter.
Yeah.
That's called downplaying, but.
Yeah.
Like that.
Like Trump did before and you did just now.
He didn't get shot at with a pea shooter. That thing could have killed him if it was within like a quarter of an inch or something.
Sure, and getting hit with a hammer is, no walk in the park either.
Okay, fine. He dies. The country still goes on. If Trump dies, I don't know what the fuck would have happened the next day. There's obviously different consequences for these different people dying. I think one is a lot more serious than the other. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, it could be very serious if Trump got assassinated. Obviously, like you're doing, a lot of people on the right would just blame the left, and some of them might get really violent. I mean,
Hey, I could blame them for the rhetoric, the extreme rhetoric.
You could blame JD Vance too.
Comparing him to Hitler.
You could blame JD Vance too. Did you?
Yeah, sure, I would too. If he's saying it, then
what do you mean? He did say it. So you do blame him.
If he didn't repent for it, I'd still be blaming him.
Oh, so even though that person's dead, he can repent and it's all equals.
He's changed his mind on Trump well before that assassination attempt even.
Did he take back anything about saying that he was like America's
He's
Hitler?
not the he is not the leftist media. He's not the who do you think has
Do you
the
see what I'm
biggest
saying?
following?
You just
Him
said the
or Percent?
leftist media.
Yeah.
You're
the
turning
leftist
up
media.
the volume on the rhetoric, on the dangerous rhetoric right
Okay.
now. You're making this partisan when it literally it might not be. First of all,
It is the leftist media. That who else? That okay?
there's
Does
no
the
right wing
leftist
media. There's no establishment
call him Orange
media.
Hitler? Establishment media, even independent media, has referred to him as. Even people like TYT, you know, David Pacman, like all these people have said that he's fascist or he has
Fascist, yeah.
fascist-like, yeah, he has these fascist-like tendencies. This
Definitely.
word fascist
He definitely
gets thrown
does,
around unfairly a lot. Yeah, no, he doesn't.
He
See,
absolutely
that's what
does,
I'm
yeah.
talking about. That is extreme rhetoric right there.
I mean,
Please tell me
he's
how
an
he's a fascist.
extreme politician, yeah.
Please tell me how he's a fascist.
He's more of a proto-fascist than a fascist.
I don't even know what that even means. There's no way in this system that you can completely be a fascist. Fascism can't take root here.
Fascism can't take root here.
Yeah,
That's
like
Joe.
system.
I want you to understand that from my perspective of somebody whose family has experienced history and experienced the history of the Holocaust, that to say that was literally word for word, but in German, what the people said in I'm not. I want to be clear here. I'm not saying, oh, because bad things happen in Germany, they're like guaranteed, like, and this isn't some kind of like paranoid delusion or whatever. I'm just saying that like you can't just rule stuff out because it seems improbable.
That rhetoric is what leads to this type of violent action happening.
I don't think it does. I don't think keeping your eyes open is unjustified. I think you have to keep your eyes open, and it doesn't always mean that you speak things exactly the way you see it, because that can turn up the violent rhetoric. Like we have to try to trust the people around us, and we have to also behave as if we trust the people around us, so that they say they can trust us. And at the same time, you also have to like speak about the tension that exists. Like it's, every moment you have to weigh these things and think about like, what do I say, what do I not say in a moment in time when our country is tense. Things are tense, right? I think we can agree on that. Things are pretty tense, right?
And we don't agree that Trump is a fascist. I disagree.
I know that we don't disagree, of course, yeah.
Yeah, and you have yet to demonstrate that to me, or make or any kind of logical. Okay, you know what? Here, pull up the.
Yeah, here I'll pull up her fascism.
Pull up Umberto Eco's 14 points of fascism, and go ahead and go down that list and tell me how Trump meets any of those criteria.
Cult of tradition. Traditionalism is, of course, much older than fascism. Not only is it a typical of counter-revolutionary Catholic thought after the French Revolution. Okay, this is no advancement of learning. Truth has already been spelled out once and for all. We can only keep interpreting its obscure message. The first point is kind of long, but cult of tradition. So what's Trump's slogan?
Oh, make America great again?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what is he referencing? Some mythical time in which things were great.
It's not mythical. He's just trying to...
Okay, so when was America great?
He wants to take it back to a time where, idealistically, the government worked for the common people and not the other way around.
Okay, so which time? What's like a decade or whatever? What time?
I don't know what time he's referencing when he's saying "Make America Great."
Does it speak to you? I guess, or I don't know. I mean, it could be different for different people. Maybe it's a great slogan. I'm not gonna deny it. It's really because you could put your own like, oh, I think it was great when I was a kid and pop music was good, and now pop music sucks today and everything's all right. Like everybody projects their own whatever, right? But
he could mean the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. I don't know. I mean, he could be referencing any. But there was a time when, crime was a lot lower, when
No, I don't think
out of
so.
wedlock birth was a lot lower.
Maybe, but crime is super low now.
Well, I'm saying crime among, certain groups like African Americans was much lower. Immigration, the amounts of illegal immigration much lower. I think he just wants to make it great again in the sense that some policies were great at different points in time.
Okay.
So I don't know, it could be a bit nebulous, and it's a good slogan, and it's basically referencing that we are going away from a good time in the country into a bad time of the country. And that could be, something new that is just unfolding, and is that not great? Mm-hmm. So to discontinue going in that direction could mean the same thing as making the country great again.
Yeah. Wasn't it? I felt like for a moment it was Keep America Great. And I think it's back to Make America Great Again. Right? Am I
Right. Right.
What's that? Mandala effect, right? Where it's like, was that a Mandala effect that it?
No. We got a lot of cleaning up to do after this administration.
Right, but Make America. Okay, so just like on the first point, cult of tradition, Make America Great Again. There was some time when it was great. We need to bring it back there. Traditionalism implies rejection of modernism. Both fascists and Nazis worship technology.
Was that supposed to map onto Trump in some way?
Yeah. First feature of our fascism is the cult of tradition. Yeah. Make America Great Again.
So what is that? How is that a cult of tradition? It's just a slogan.
Sure, but I mean that's the ethos of his movement, is to bring things back to some time in which things were better, right? And
is people to either stop or reverse certain things. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. How's that a cult of tradition?
I mean, we can look for more detail in terms of what you mean, like cult of tradition, but that's his slogan. Yeah. What's up?
Are there any negatives about the things that he wants to make great again? If something is made great again, how can that be bad?
Sure. I mean, that's the idea. That's why it's a good slogan, right? Because we're going to make things great. I mean, who could be against that, right? But there's some things that have changed that people thought were bad, and maybe some people want to bring back. So segregation was bad. Women not having as many rights.
So specifically,
maybe it was bad.
What thing? Hold on, I'm curious now. So what thing does Trump want to make great again that would be bad? Because it would be impossible to make it great again if it were bad. So where's the negative there?
Wait.
Where's the negative? Is there any negativity in that messaging, or what's the? It seems
right.
like
So here's the thing that's maybe kind of close to home for us, is like not having to ever hear. I mean, us like you and I. This is something that we've talked about. Is like not having messaging that. So it's very like kind of culture war based, I guess. I think more than like economic. It feels like where this is playing out. So not having to like hear about or see lots of like gay and trans people. That feels like a kind of hot button issue. That's like a big part of culture wars.
What policy within Make America Great Again?
Well, so he did ban trans people from the military. I don't think that's like one of his main things, but he did do that.
Okay, and
what do you mean and that's a bad thing?
No, why? Wait, hold on. Why is that a bad thing? We want to have a functional military.
Yeah, and the military said that ban made them less effective.
The military said
that. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like.
But the military is a famously lefty organization, so I don't know. It might be. They're probably just too woke. I think like fighter jets are kind of woke, honestly.
Now I think I know what Make America Great Again is got a lot of credit. We obviously need to make the military great again, and he did.
By banning trans people?
In a lot of ways, he made it better.
In what other ways besides banning trans people?
He built it up. He built it up to.
He increased funding?
we have a stronger military now than after
You think
his
we should have more
presidency than
funding for the
before.
military?
We for defense purposes, yeah.
Well, what do you? I don't know. I mean, it's not like it's allocated into, right, strictly like defense versus offense. I mean, we're a very like, you know,
I like it. I like it. I like support for the
what was the Bush
defensive
doctrine?
part.
What was it called? It was like strategic first strike or whatever.
Yeah, I'm cool with the defensive part being funded.
Sure.
Yeah, there's no hypocrisy there. You won't find any.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, so okay, so he made that great again.
But wait, how much did he increase
because,
the military budget by?
you want
Well, you said that that's something he did that made things way better. Like what did he specifically do?
okay.
I mean, it feels like every president, this is why we don't see like Obama or Biden as like lefties. Every lefty Congress is increasing the military budget. It's the one thing that every party, every politician does is increase the military budget.
He increased the budget. He invested in modernization.
Okay.
Created the Space Force. Pay raises for military personnel. Veterans Affairs reform and readiness and training. He increased the budget for that as well.
Okay. How does that compare to the amount that Biden increased by?
I'm not talking about Biden. I'm talking about Trump.
Okay. So Trump did something that every president has ever done.
He made that good. What else? You brought up the military. Okay. I didn't.
I don't know.
You brought it up, and it looks like from here you brought up the military, right? Mm-hmm. So now I'm looking into the military. Seems like he made that great.
He made it. What does it mean to be great versus? I feel like I'm so lost here. This is just like rhetoric.
These like 6 different things that he did for the military. They all seem. What's not great about him?
I mean, do you want to go to the other points? Maybe we should go through them and then we can go back through them, like one by one. I could just do like
what else do you have?
So traditionalism implies. So 2 is traditionalism implies the rejection of modernism. 3 is irrationalism. Also depends on the cult of action for action's sake.
Don't go through all of them. Just pick the ones that align with him.
Okay, I mean traditionalism implies the rejection of modernism. I mean, this is again, more of like a culture war thing.
How he modernized the military. Can you tell me how that's a rejection of modernism?
No, I mean, okay. Well, here. So let me read the next sentence. Okay, traditionalism implies the rejection of modernism. Both fascists and Nazis worship technology, while traditionalist thinkers usually reject it as a negation of traditional spiritual values. However, even though Nazism was proud of its industrial achievements, its praise of modernism was only the surface of an ideology based on blood and earth, Blut und Boden. The rejection of the modern world was disguised as a rebuttal of the capitalistic way of life, but it mainly concerned the rejection of the spirit of 1789 and 1776, of course. The Enlightenment, the Age of Reason, is seen as the beginning of modern depravity. In this sense, or fascism can be defined as irrationalism. So this is like the kind of thing that you hear all the time of, things were better before this kind of like modern, atheistic, whatever, where women have all the same rights as men and they're the same as men. Modern women this, modern everything. So, I mean, that's the rhetoric. Trump is not a big policy guy.
So
these are mostly like
Trump responsible
like
for
cultural.
This? But we're talking about how is he responsible for this?
It's his rhetoric most. I mean, it's
his rhetoric.
It's most of what he does.
What did he say? What would be an example of that?
I mean, going back to his "Make America Great Again," everything that he's
I just explained to you what
talked about is a rejection of the latest political things that are all making your life terrible and going back to something.
Okay. Yes. What is Give me something concrete. Give me something he
there,
said.
there is
or some piece of rhetoric.
There is nothing. Pieces of rhetoric. I mean, there's the I don't know if it's something here. It might be more like six, seven. Derives from individual or social frustration, frustrated middle class, people deprived of clear social identity. Easiest way to solve the plot is appeal to xenophobia, but the plot must also come from the inside. Jews are usually the best target because they have the advantage of being at the same time inside and outside. But the appeal to xenophobia is like a huge thing. Obsession with a plot, probably an international one. Followers must feel besieged. Right, so...
Can you give me one that relates to Trump?
Yeah. So the followers must feel besieged. The easiest way to solve the plot is appeal to xenophobia. So talking incessantly about, caravans, about Muslim bans, about how there's all these people coming in and ruining the country. We're going to build a wall and keep them out. Of course, there's lots of xenophobia.
No, there's none. None of that is... Okay, you do not need to have any xenophobia to say, hey, we need to have reasonable border patrol policy. Or, hey, we need to have, there are a certain, set of people who have a certain set of beliefs. And unfortunately, they tend to... Yeah, and unfortunately, they tend to have a history of, like, running airplanes into buildings or blowing themselves up. So... unfortunately, we have to treat them a little differently. Mm-hmm. So I get that kind of has to happen sometimes.
Quarter of the world's population. They're all baddies,
All of them, yeah. That's what we're saying. We're obviously saying that they're all bad, right, Socrates?
When you say, there's a certain type of people.
We want to check your outfit at the airport, or we want to, temporarily ban a certain, country from coming over here until things cool down a little bit.
Which country did the hijackers come from?
What? Tell me, was it xenophobia when he?
It was Saudi Arabia, right? But that's like our main ally.
Banned people from China from coming over here during the time of COVID. Was that xenophobia? Because I remember him being called xenophobic for doing that.
Well, I mean, he was called xenophobic for calling it like the China virus, and he was called xenophobic. Actually, listen to some of his speeches at the RNC where he kept saying, China did this to us. China did this to us, and they ruined our beautiful country.
He was called xenophobic for banning travel from China into the United States.
Sure, that's fine.
That's what happened. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Well, that's what he was called. He was called xenophobic for doing that.
Well, that wasn't xenophobic.
It wasn't, because there was a good reason for
other things. That. Banning people from Muslim countries was xenophobic, but banning people from China when COVID was happening was not xenophobic.
But when you have
some things he did were and some things weren't.
But when you have the virus of radical Islam, Islam running on
the virus of radical Islam, okay.
Yeah, radical Islam. You know what radical? Do you?
How do you test for the virus of radical Islam? Do you ban people from
maybe how about
Muslim countries?
Yourself up for 72 virgins? How about that? How about you use that as a good measuring stick for what?
So anybody who does that shouldn't be allowed in the country. I agree. Do you think I would disagree with that?
No, I'm glad we glad we agree that Trump wasn't xenophobic. I'm glad we agree on that.
What do we agree on?
We agree that Trump wasn't xenophobic because he banned radical Islam for having
how did he ban radical? Oh, and how did he do that? How did he decrease that chance?
With a travel ban,
against people who crashed into buildings, or
who did he ban? Travel from an Islamic country. Are you going to, by proxy, lessen the chances of a radical Islamist coming to the country?
Yeah, you probably will.
There it is.
If you don't allow men out at night, will you decrease the number of murders and rapes by a huge amount?
You could have said
probably like 80%.
It was a little bit of an overreaction or what. But
okay.
You know what? There's there's some truth there that yes, you are going to fade some more extreme members of the population if you ban travel from certain countries. That is true. Okay, so
Sure.
anyway,
I mean, I don't see these kinds of things as just like a
there's
joke
something.
or like, oh, he did whatever. I have a colleague who's from Iran, who's in my PhD program, who had to leave because of that and wasn't able to return. He'd been a cancer researcher for years that we worked together, and he was going to stay in the United States and keep working on curing cancer, but he got kicked out of the country because Trump wanted to appeal to these fascist ideals. Obviously, he didn't look at the list and like go down it, but this is what he was doing.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to agree
It's
with
not
this list.
I don't see these things as just like, oh, these things aren't like far away, just happening to other people in some other place for me.
They're
These are
extremely
like
far
real.
away. Your first example was a huge example.
My first example is somebody I worked with. What do you mean far away?
Your first example was you gave me the cult of tradition one. That one is already far away from this definition of fascism that you're bringing up. So I don't think we're going to be able to. I don't think we're ever going to agree to how these map on. Like I could agree.
Okay, so it's again another thing that we just won't look at
They perfectly map on to every other dictator that I've seen, but they don't map onto this guy, especially when you're in a country that would never allow for any type of fascism.
No, I mean if you look at Stalin or something, for example, he was a dictator. He was horrible. He did horrible shit. But there's
sure he is, but he wasn't in a democratic.
But he was pretty different from these particular traits. It doesn't make him better or worse. It's just a different political ideology.
I'm just saying you can't rise to the power of a Hitler in this country. It's just not possible.
It's just, Joe, do you recognize how little comfort that might be to me? Do you understand how empty of a statement when my pretty recent ancestors were killed with those words in their mouths? Do you understand how little that might mean to me?
Our system.
What's the difference between Germany and America that makes it impossible to happen here? Germany
the rhetoric. How about the rhetoric of Hitler compared to the rhetoric of Donald Trump? A huge rhetorical difference.
What's the huge rhetorical difference?
You got a demonization of a certain sect of people saying that all of your these people are vile and abomination, and they're all you should have no chill for these people. If he advocated for putting people in concentration camps and killing them,
is that the first thing that Hitler did while he was trying to gain power, was talk about putting people in concentration camps? But this is what I'm saying. When anybody's making comparisons of Trump to Hitler, they're not saying late stage Hitler, right? They're talking about early stage Hitler. They're talking about how would we catch this shit early. What do you mean, wow? That's the only point in looking at history, is to try to have things go in a different direction before they get there.
Socratease, I'm super interested.
It's like if you're looking at a map and you arrive there, you're like, well, we're already here.
I'm super interested. I want to hear how close we get to Nazi Germany in the next 4 years of Trump, should he win the White House. Tell me how the next 4 years are going to unfold with Trump.
No, I'm not going to, because you're not taking this seriously.
Okay. I am taking this seriously. I just think that it's a little ridiculous that just because I do not agree with how hopeless you see another Trump presidency.
I don't see it as hopeless. I don't see it as hopeless. I told you I see parallels, but I'm not saying that oh, this is absolutely happening. And
just because you see an unreasonable amount of parallels to Hitler.
Yeah, it's unreasonable how many there are. Yeah,
it's unreasonable to me. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I see it. You can't say I'm not taking you seriously. We just have a difference of opinion.
I don't think you're taking the concept of looking at history and saying this bad thing happened. Let's try to learn from that and evaluate whether this could happen in this scenario and what might we do to head that off. And okay, let me be clear. Let me be ultra clear. The kind of things that we need to do to stop. Okay, if hypothetically Trump were Hitler or whatever, or early Hitler on his rise to power, the things I would want to do to stop that would be things like make life better for everybody in America, so that people aren't pushed into feeling like they want to do anything radical or participate in violence. If we make literally like people feel like they have more autonomy in the world and have better if you got to go take care of family stuff. How we doing, chat? It's more heated than I intended it to be, but
All right. Yeah, I don't know. There's too much here. So
I mean, to my credit, I said that we probably weren't going to be able to make a lot of progress on these kind of political things, which is
okay.
I think it's tough. It's tough because there's so much.
Yeah. There's one last thing I wanted to bring up with you, and this will be a lot easier to forward on. Whenever I talk about, like, we're having this discussion where I talk about my, Christian values and things like that, and how just kind of naturally at odds with the types of communities and ideals that you support. And I tell you that I want to, completely get rid of things like trans ideology and things like that. And I keep hearing this come back to me, like you keep saying things back, and I don't know who you talk to, because you're saying like, oh, this hatred for homosexuals or this hatred for trans people. And so I need to clear this up right now. I need to clear this up so that we don't run into this ever again. And I need you to, if you need to write it down.
It's a lofty goal, but we can try. We can definitely try.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I do not have a hatred of gay people or trans people. Quite the opposite, actually. I have like a certain pity almost. I pray for their souls. I want them to be saved.
We don't need your pity, but yeah, please.
Yeah, I want them to be saved, like, from their own sin, because at the end of the day, I'm not the one who passes judgment. There's no judgment I could pass here on earth worse than the judgment that may come their way if they don't save themselves or seek salvation. So it's not on me, and even if it were, I could not possibly, pass a judgment that's fitting. So
I appreciate you being non-judgmental, maybe.
Right, but so that's
see.
one category. So on individuals, I have complete sympathy for these people, right? I see them as suffering, as cursed.
As cursed, okay.
The others, yeah. So on the other side, what I don't like, or what I have hatred for, is the ideology, which is, I believe, what Satan uses as the tool to take advantage of man's original sin and lure some of these people deeper into the dark, where they kind of adopt these identities or whatever, even though they're really being possessed by something that is going to no doubt make their lives harder, give them a worse life, make them live a sort of hell on earth with the types of difficulties that they have to face,
like religious Christians, for example.
No, like just the everyday. So that's interesting, Socrates. Do you think if we got rid of all the Christians on earth, that there would be no homophobia or transphobia or anything like that?
No, I mean there's other types of homophobic and transphobic people. I'm not
so
really in
it's not
the
just Christians then.
I'm not really in the business, getting rid of
Okay, just
people
making
from the
sure.
earth business. That's
Just
not
making
really
sure.
my.
I'm just making sure it wasn't just the Christians because you
It's
brought
not
in
just the
Christians.
Christians.
Well,
No.
it's definitely
In the
Christians giving them a
USA,
hard
it's
time. So
like
I'm just making sure. Just
mostly
making sure.
Christians, but
Oh,
uh,
mostly Christians.
in the
Okay,
in the
so
USA, I mean,
have a quite a lot easier life if all the Christians, right?
um, sure. I don't really think about things like that. I genuinely don't.
There would be nobody around to make them because these people don't breed. Anyway,
Which people?
they don't.
You know that gay
don't
people don't
breed.
come from
So,
other gay people, right? Are you
I
aware
know
of that? Yeah. So
That what?
gay people don't come from other gay people.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure. Okay.
I said they don't breed.
But what does that have to do with anything? Oh, like there would be
I'm
no
just
more
saying,
people because no, I mean gay people breed. That's not true.
They can't naturally breed.
Sure. I mean,
They could.
in the way that you as a religious Christian want them to, but if you weren't there to try to dictate that, then they would just do it however they wanted, right? And it would still work, right? So it's kind of the solution and the right. It's the solution is wrapped up in the problem.
This is all besides the point.
It feels like we're
The point
getting
is
away from
that life is going to be hard for these people no matter what, because guess what? It's a fucking curse from Satan. So
sure, I don't agree, but yeah, I listen, but I hear your point.
It's absolutely true that these people are going to have a harder.
Oh, you cut off for like the whole sentence there. But it's something they're going to have a hard life no matter what social opinion is or whatever.
Yeah, which is why I want them to be saved.
I don't think that's accurate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's empirically not the case, right? Because I live in like a pretty liberal, accepting area, and like gay people around me don't have like terrible lives just from being.
It's like you better stay in that area if you want to have a good.
Sure,
right?
I mean, it's a good thing that like the liberal areas are like some of the best areas. So I don't know.
Right. Okay. Great.
Yeah,
so great. I'm glad they want to stay there and not spread it anyway.
Yeah, spread. Yeah, spread. It would be horrible if the infection of gay people existing were spread to other parts of the world. That would be. Do you see where any of the hateful? Do you see like little things that I might be picking up on?
Hateful. I don't see anything hateful here.
Right, but I'm asking if you see what I'm seeing.
The ideology and putting it out there like it's just a good natural thing that occurs is not true. And just like
what do you mean it's not true? That it's not good or it's not natural?
Either.
What do you mean that it's not natural?
Honest. I don't believe it's something that is for our it's not what we were designed to do.
Sure. Okay. But do you recognize that I don't see biology as designed? Do you recognize that that's not my worldview? That I don't see things as purposeful, whatever.
I want you to see my worldview.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to make you understand my worldview.
Mm-hmm. There's a way that we're supposed to be. There's a manual. There's a person who created things in a particular way for a particular purpose. That's your perspective,
these
right?
People, the way I see it is I don't need to hate or judge anybody.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that people need to deal with. Is at the end of the day, it is between them and God.
Sure. Yeah, that's totally fair.
But for me, that does not mean I need to tolerate the ideology that spreads the misconception that it's all just okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to tolerate that. I could say no. I could say, and I don't need to. I could say no to, preferred pronouns and all those things. I don't need to accept.
You can say no to whatever you want. This is America. It's a free country. Yeah.
No, yeah, but tell me why that would be. That would.
No,
be
I could definitely connect the dots for you. Yeah.
Right.
So
okay, that's up. So that's the thing, right? So.
I think I can connect exactly the dots that you're talking about. So, from your perspective, you're saying like, look, like these people exist. They can live their lives. I mean, they should live them this way, But ultimately, they are going to live them however they're going to live them. And I'm not going to, I might have my judgments, but it's not really even like relevant for me to judge. God will judge, and they'll experience the world as the world is, and that will present its own, situations and challenges. But I just don't want, people to think that this is like okay or normal or good or wholesome or whatever. I just don't want this stuff spread.
Parades. I don't want the books
Yep.
in the schools.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want any of that. I want it to be celebrated.
Mm-hmm. So from the perspective of, it's like, hey, we're a group of people who, throughout like American history and, especially American history, but different parts of history, but especially American history, have been, it's been like illegal to be visibly like trans or non-binary in public. Like if you're wearing the wrong clothing, you get arrested. If you're like assembling in bars, just having a drink after work, you'd be arrested. And at some point, kind of had enough, and we're like, we're not going to take this shit anymore. And the cops come to arrest us, and we say no. And we stand up, and we fight back. We fight back with bricks, and that was called the Stonewall Riots. And that's where pride comes from. Pride, I think there's this conception that pride is like, pride in terms of like, oh, there's sloth and there's what, like, if you fought a war, if you fought a war to create America, you should be fucking proud of that you created America. It's not pride in the sense of like, oh, I'm so proud of myself and that's sinful. You should be proud in good labor that you do in the world, right? You should be proud of good work,
sure.
right? Those are very different types of proud. Like, oh, look at me, I'm so amazing. That's one type of, that's hubris, right?
That community engages in is the sinful kind.
Well,
pride in what?
Well, no, you are wrong, because fighting against oppression and saying if this state wants to stop us from existing as who we are, they're free to do so, and we're free to fight back against it. And if people see our struggle and say, hey, that's how humanity should be, then that's a fight that they fought, and they should be proud of winning. If you think the whole endeavor is like a wrong-headed endeavor, then obviously you're going to be like, well, you shouldn't be. If it was like, if you fought the Revolutionary War for the British, and they won, so obviously we wouldn't say like, oh, they should be proud because they were fighting on the wrong side, right?
I take your point.
Yeah.
I getting, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me ask, let's reverse that back to you.
Yeah.
So now it starts going back the other way,
Mm-hmm.
and, certain mothers groups get together,
Mm-hmm.
and churches and religious figures and people like that, we start getting together and we start saying things like, hey, these books in our schools aren't okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go and we get those books banned from the schools, and we succeeded, right? Because we said, we're not going to take this shit anymore. We're going to stand up to it. We're going to stand up to the Department of Education or whatever, whoever we need to stand up to.
Sure.
And we got that shit done. We have pride. Now we got pride, right?
You should be proud. But from my perspective, you should be proud the way the Redcoats would be proud. Proud maybe of your military, of your battles, but not proud of your side.
From us, and then we took control back. That's something we should be prideful of. Yeah, we overcame a hostile takeover.
Yeah, I mean, the only difference is that we're saying we want our books. Wait, I haven't said anything yet. Why are you skeptical of what I'm? I haven't said anything. Wait. What was that?
Go ahead.
Okay. We're only saying we want our books next to your books. And you're saying, look, guys, don't go crazy. We just don't want your books next to our books, okay? It's the same struggle. We just don't want you to be visible or accepted. And we're just saying we just want to be accepted and be able to be visible. Right? Like, those aren't equivalent. Whatever you think of those things, they're not equivalent.
First of all, I think it's more benevolent that we give you the message of, you know what, I think maybe it's best if you don't do that, because you're going to have a whole lot of a harder life if you insist on being so visible.
Sure, that could be, yeah.
And,
So what? It's not your call to make.
It all comes from love, right? All of this.
I don't think it does come from love, though. I think in a way it comes from love, but I think
No, because
mostly
we
it
want
comes
the
from
best for you, and the
ignorance.
best for you is not to go down this road of
Telling,
degeneracy.
what is it
It's to go down
called
the road
when you
of-
tell other people that you are not in communication with, that you do not understand how best to live their lives? What do you call that?
No, that's fine. Like I said, at the
That's
end of the day,
authoritarianism, or at least it's like the nanny state or
between
whatever.
how
At best.
this is like I said, it's different from having your book in a public school is not the same as me accepting you for who you are and not passing judgment and allowing you to just let that be between you and God, right?
But not between each other.
Not gonna gay bash you, not gonna persecute
Aw.
you, nothing like that. None of that.
Appreciated.
All I want is that if you want to put these type of books in the schools with our kids and indoctrinate them from a young age, that I'm not okay with, because that is how
when your books are in schools,
gay.
when your books are in schools,
about.
that's
It's
called
your-
fair. When our
hold
books
on,
are also
hold
in
on.
schools, it's called indoctrination. Do you understand how unfair that sounds? How unfair that could sound?
It's not unfair. It's not unfair.
Isn't it unfair? If you say that you get different treatment than we do, why is that not unfair?
It's not unfair because you do deserve different treatment.
Okay, now we're getting on to the real issues here. Okay.
Yeah.
Why do we deserve
it's
fewer rights than you deserve?
Because it's not good for society.
Okay. You have judged that something is not good for society. It's degeneracy. Where does the word degeneracy applied to gay and trans people come from?
It's not, like I said, it's not the people.
I'm pretty sure it comes from the Nazis.
It's the ideology.
So this is the main thing that I think I need to connect. Because from your perspective, there's like the people that you love, there's the ideology that you hate, right? That's your perspective. These are
okay. Look, we did this mental test the other day, right? So
wait, what's happening?
Let's go over it again. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I just don't understand what's happening.
Okay, because we need to move this forward, and I think I know how to do that.
Okay,
so
I think I know.
No, my way was a lot more.
Okay, that's fine.
Better.
Let's make it fair. Just do it your way, and then maybe I'll go.
I'm
just joshing.
Straight for the point. So
okay. Okay.
We had this hypothetical, right? Where I said, what if I were to Thanos snap all the homosexuality and trans ideology and just cured everybody?
I don't think this is the right direction, but go ahead.
This is a great direction. This is exactly where I want to go. So,
well, as long as you've taken my advice under advisement.
In this hypothetical, I snap it away. All of a sudden, the gay guy wakes up the next day. Oh shit, I'm straight now. I'm only attracted to women. The trans person wakes up the next day like, oh fuck, I am buying me some man's clothes. I am not a woman. What was I thinking? I'm getting a gym membership also and a Bible or something. Like
10 Bibles.
Yeah, that
a Bible written in Arabic.
That's a joke, but I'm just saying that they get up and being gay and being trans is now gone from humanity. What
also from other animals or
what from humanity?
Just humans, okay.
Humanity.
Animals still gay. Okay, cool.
It's gone from humanity. So what negative impact does our species take going from that point on?
So again, you're talking from the perspective of like, can we reach the stars or whatever, something like that?
No, I'm just saying, what negative is there any negative impact to species? The progress of the prolonging of our species, is that negatively impacted in any way?
Sure, yeah, you've gotten rid of the gay and the trans people. That's bad.
No, you don't. No. You don't get rid of the people.
No, I know. You've gotten rid of those identities from existing on the planet, right?
No, you've just changed them from gay and trans to straight.
Sure, to straight and cis. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like if we got rid of the Christians and made them all atheists or whatever, right? We turned them into atheists. They woke up.
Yes, this is the question I'm asking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm right. That
Yeah.
just clarifying.
No, yeah,
It's,
same thing.
right.
Same thing.
Same thing.
That's another.
Right. I mean, if all the
interesting one
Christians
that
were
we could
atheists,
do.
then we would probably be able to get rid of climate change, so that like the
No,
planet wouldn't die.
no.
We'd probably be
Okay,
able to end wars.
We'll get there
Right,
next.
like, okay.
Let's go there next. Let's do this one first, and I'll gladly visit that one with you next.
Mm-hmm.
But first, this one. Do I need to repeat the question, or do you?
I think it's probably better if you don't. Yeah. So I think from the perspective of literally the species surviving, I think if you get rid of, as I said before, which
surviving. Hold on. Let
surviving,
me be
thriving.
hyper-specific. This is thriving. Yes,
Thriving?
thriving. Yes.
Yeah, I think it would hurt the species thriving for sure. Yeah.
It would hurt the species thriving. Go ahead and tell me how it would hurt the thriving of the human species to get rid of the thing in people's heads that leads to not breeding or reproducing.
Is that the main thing that leads people to not breeding or reproducing? Do straight people ever not breed or reproduce?
If you get chemically castrated in your youth to transition, you are a genetic dead end. You are not spreading your progeny any further.
I assume you're talking about trans people, not gay people, right?
Yeah, I was giving that as an example. Yes.
Do you think that's like a big thing that happens?
Listen, but sex doesn't give you a baby. Getting chemically castrated doesn't get you a baby. Tell me how eliminating
Joe,
all of that. Hold on.
Yeah.
Come on. You got to do this.
I think your questions are suffering from
not to answer the question.
Just
You don't want to
a
answer the
level of
question.
ignorance.
You don't want to answer the question, and you're
I really,
hyper-resisting it.
It's true that I don't want to answer the question because it's a really disgusting question.
Shit.
I'm not saying I won't.
Out.
I'm not saying I won't. Don't
Then
mistake
answer
me,
the
Joe.
question.
Don't flutter around here, okay? I'm going to answer the question. I am answering the question. But it is a disgusting question.
What's the disgusting question? You're asking me the disgusting question. Okay, I
will
care.
answer.
I don't care if you think it's a disgusting question.
Okay, you don't want to know. You don't want to know why everybody who's watching this thinks that you're disgusting for asking this question. Wasn't that the point of us talking?
Care.
You don't
I
care.
don't care that my question is disgusting. I want to know the answer to my question.
Do you want to know the answer, or is there only one
disgusting.
answer you'll ever accept?
Go ahead and give me the answer to the.
Is there
question.
any
Tell me
answer you
how
would
it's
accept
disgusting
other than,
or-
you know what, Joe? You're 100% correct. That's true. That's a good point. I guess maybe we should do that.
Go ahead and try. Go ahead and try.
I'm not going to try. I'm not. This isn't a change my mind. The point of interrogating me was to learn things from my perspective.
I'm trying to learn, and I haven't learned your perspective on this at all because you won't answer the question.
You won't listen. What are we to do?
I'm listening. Do I need to ask the question again? I still have yet to hear
You
an
don't.
answer.
You don't need to ask it again.
Okay, then I'm still waiting for an answer.
The species will thrive less if you Thanos snap, transform the identities away from gay and trans people, because we'll lose out on diversity of identity, we'll lose out on art, we'll lose out on people who have a perspective on society that is sorely lacking, and without a capacity to self-understand, we're more likely to self-destruct.
Don't gish gallop. I need to ask on each one of the. Yeah, you're because I can't let you.
Please don't use like debate bro terms with. This is not. It's not relevant here. It's not
terms. It just sounds
not
like a
important.
gish gallop. But okay, so we lose diversity. Tell me, we lose all diversity? Let's go one at a time.
No,
We
I
lose
mean,
diversity.
look, I don't think you really have to like belabor this. We lose an amount of diversity.
Okay, we lose a small amount of diversity.
Did you really think I was saying we lose all diversity if we lose?
Wait, no, you just
Were
said
you genuinely asking me that?
Hold on. If I Thanos snap all the Nazi ideology away and all Nazis wake up the next days not being Nazis, Are we in a more negative place now as a species because we are less diverse because all the Nazis are gone, Socrates?
It's not necessarily inconceivable. It's something worth considering.
Okay,
I,
so why would we ever
this is
list
why.
that
This is
as
part of why your
negative?
question is disgusting, because you're talking about just Thanos snapping and altering humanity. I don't think that's an acceptable way of doing things. And the fact that
It's
you would think in those
hypothetical.
terms, I think
It's
says something.
hypothetical. It's how we test for logic. Hypothetical.
I think different people test for logic in
Testing your
different
logic.
ways. It's fine. I just think
It's a perfectly fine way to
I just think
test
you're
for
missing
logic.
something here. Yeah.
I don't think I'm missing anything here. I think I'm
Well,
testing your
if you don't
logic
think you're
by
missing
testing
anything,
your
then that's all that
hypothetical.
matters.
I'm testing your logic with a hypothetical, and I'm having to drag you kicking and screaming this whole time.
And then I
to
answered, and you said it was a
answer
gish
basic
gallop.
questions. Because I can't let you prattle off these list of points when I disagree with one after
Well,
the other, and now I got to go back and stop you and go over each one.
Do you want me to write it down?
So now I went back and I went over the first one you listed, which was we lose certain diversity.
Yeah.
Can you tell me why losing a certain set of diversity would be negative? Because I don't see how that would be an entirely negative thing. As for the example I just listed about getting rid of all the Nazis in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we lose a diverse piece of thought.
Mm-hmm.
But is that a negative on the world? I don't think so. I think people who want to exterminate people just because they're, a different race or whatever, probably not a good thing. So that diversity I could probably live without. So can we move on to the next one? Because diversity ain't it. I can definitely say bye-bye to some parts of diversity.
You don't think there's any amount of diversity that's ever worth preserving just in general? You don't think?
Tell me
are Nazis the exception or are they the rule?
Tell me what if you think there's part of their diversity you think is worth keeping around, please tell me what it is and why it's worth keeping around, Socrates.
And by they, we're talking about gay and trans people, not Nazis, right?
I am.
Okay.
I'm talking about
just clarifying. Yeah. I mean, a lot of great artists in history have.
My question.
Sorry?
It's the whole point of my question. What negative impact to our prosperity as a species are we losing out on if I get rid of all the, homosexuality and trans, mind virus from everybody?
Sure. Have you heard of the movie The Shining?
Yes.
Jack Nicholson.
Yep.
Can't remember the woman's name. I still actually haven't watched it all the way through, but the artist who did the soundtrack is trans.
Okay.
Right, so it's a piece of art.
Have you heard of Beethoven?
I don't think trans, but deaf.
No, he wasn't trans. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
How about Bach?
Not trans or deaf, as far as I'm aware.
How about Eddie Van Halen? Do you see where I'm going here? Do you see how
you think there's more more great artists who are cis than were trans?
Yeah, I think you know what it is. Here's what it is.
I don't know. What kind of dick swinging contest did we get into?
We don't. Conservatives don't generally believe in solutions. There are no perfect solutions for anything.
No, there's no.
We believe in our trade-offs.
Oh,
we
God.
believe in trade-offs, right?
Phrasing.
So here we're going to take a trade-off here. We're going to lose this one, orchestrator who, did this one movie to get rid of all the degeneracy.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good trade-off. So okay.
Joe, do you understand that right now you are indistinguishable from sounding like a Nazi? I'm not coming at you. I'm just helping you maybe see where the way you talk about things presents an ideal that I think is very different from where you're actually coming from.
You don't care about any of this. This is a bunch of the obfuscation. You're just trying to this is emotion. This is your opinion.
This is emotion. This is
not factual.
This is factual.
It's not. It's just.
What do you mean? Of course it's
factual.
What? What's not factual?
Nothing like nothing. No part of my ideology or creed is Nazism. I'm a Christian.
No. I'm
Nazis are
saying, I'm
atheists.
telling you that because if you, okay, let me put it this way. If I did think that you were a Nazi, I wouldn't tell you how to not sound like a Nazi. It's because I know that you're not that I'm trying to trying to explain. I'm not telling you how to live your life, but I'm just telling you how to, like, pointing out ways that it comes off like that.
Socrates, you're like.
Because that was the question. The question is, why is it when I say things that people build this association? And I'm telling you in real time.
I'm trying to keep us on track here, and this is not helpful. We're going.
This is the only treatment. We don't have to. We can get off track, but this is the treatment.
To the bottom of my question here. Okay, so far you've given me kind of nothing. Let me go to the other end. So in the other end, if we just, like, get rid of all the straight cis people in the world and just leave all the trans
they're all
gay
trans
people,
and gay. That sounds amazing. Yeah. Fine.
That sounds amazing.
Okay, let's do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When you're an atheist nihilist, this is what it goes to.
What?
It doesn't matter if humanity goes extinct.
Why did you say that,
It
Joe?
just doesn't matter.
Why did you call me a nihilist? Do you think that I'm a nihilist, or was that just like a random ad
You
hom?
just said it was a good thing. If you just said it sounded awesome if we get rid of all the straight people and only have the world full of, gay and trans people.
I mean, it's a little tongue in cheek. I wouldn't do that. And again, I don't think about things in that term. But yeah, I think we'd probably figure it out. We'd probably be okay.
Earlier you accused me of not taking it seriously, and now I'm going to say seriously, which is fine. I'm not going to get butthurt over it. I just feel like I'm not getting.
Yeah, I genuinely think, like, we would figure it out. Like, it would be like there would be issues. Like, there'd be a lot of shit we'd have to solve all at once, right? There'd be a lot of infrastructure we'd have to build, but I don't think it's, like, insurmountable. No.
You would not be able to replace your own birth rates. It would just plummet until you're at a scary, barely existing species on Earth. And
you think humanity would just go extinct because we're not reproducing fast enough? Do you think that's like the main thing that humanity is dealing with right now? Is just we're just not reproducing enough. That's the only,
That is a huge danger to humanity. Yes, not producing enough.
You don't think, like, overproduction could also maybe be an issue?
No.
No? Oh, okay, that's cool.
It's not an issue currently. I'm talking about the issues we currently face, which is we're below replacement birth rates, and having things like promotion of sexuality and is definitely not fucking helping. It's definitely going the other way, because these people cannot reproduce. They cannot replace themselves at the same rate that straight people can do. A little Christian couple gets together, they bang out 4 or 5 kids, and the gay and trans community cannot even dream of getting towards that average. Never in a million years.
I think we talked about a while ago that lesbians could pump out twice as many babies if they set their mind to it.
And then why don't they, Socrates? Why don't they? Why are they out?
Because they don't want to.
Oh, because they don't want to fulfill the duty that God gave mankind to do. Yes, that's the whole difference here. It's complete nihilism. You guys don't give a fuck if the...
Joe, is there really no middle ground between, like, reproducing at maximum rate and nihilism? Is there any difference between, like, you know what? I don't feel like having a lot of kids is actually what's right for me in my life, and, like, you know what? I just want to watch the world burn. I hope we all die. Is there really no middle ground between those things?
No, yeah, just like there's no there. I mean,
do you think if everybody were like an atheist that the world would die out? Because what you're
absolutely.
So people being atheists, or what if people were feminists?
You cannot tell me how
people being gay and trans and leftists and feminists and atheists are existential threats to the entire species. And you came to me with your main issue that the rhetoric is turned up too high against Trump. Do you understand how ironic that is?
No, it's not.
It's not. You don't understand? How
No,
can I make
because
you
it's
understand,
made
Joe?
up.
What can I say to make you understand? What words in what order can I say to make you
Listen,
understand?
because I live in the real world, Socrates. I could point to you the exact one-to-one effects of each. On one side, we got Trump, who is like if he is a Nazi, he is the worst Nazi on earth. He is.
But you have heard of him.
A terrible Nazi. Like he hosted, I think his wife or somebody hosted like a gay wedding.
Oh, are they
last
still
week,
together? Yeah.
And then, he shakes. Yeah, and then he like has a Jewish son-in-law. I mean,
Damn.
man.
Yeah, he fucked up.
Let me tell you, he's failing. I give him an F.
Yeah.
Straight up. But as far as like reproducing and stuff like that, I mean, I give the gay and trans ideology. I give that.
I couldn't hear what you said, but I'm guessing you said you give it an F.
That's realistically happening. So look, at the end of the day, it's fine. You're an individual. You can go be that, do that, whatever. But if we want to get together and collectively say, nah, you're not going to have this book in here.
Mm-hmm. You should just burn it.
That's just the way it. You should get
a bunch of those books together and burn them so that people can see it's like a big display, and then people can see.
We're just gonna appeal. We got to appeal to the big scary Nazis, everybody.
The big scary Nazis that just exist in fairy tales.
They gotta interpret it as let's just burn it, let's just
do you recognize that do you recognize that is no, so as of last year it was just being talked about. This year it's actually happened. Like
it could be in the public library. That's fine.
Do you recognize that that's like a real thing?
Library, Socrates.
So, Joe, this is again where I'm saying this isn't something I think you're going to go do, but there are people doing this. And so I get concerned when I hear you saying it because there's other people who actually go and do this. And I don't think they're doing it because you're saying it. I'm not trying to silence you or whatever. But I'm telling you, that's why it concerns me that you're saying it, because other people go out and actually really do this stuff.
Let's see what the material harm is. Let's say I go buy a book that got banned from schools, right? Mm-hmm. It's called This Book is Gay. It teaches you like how to do fellatio on a man, how to find a date on Grindr, stuff like that. If I bought that book and burnt it in my fire pit, mm-hmm. What would be wrong with that? I
mean, this is like, this is like if you do whatever in like private. If you do that in private, it's like, it kind of doesn't. It affects you. So okay, so let's be honest. So this is like, you would say as a Christian, if you do like things that are sinful in your own home that don't affect other people, it's still wrong because it like hurts your own like integrity and moral whatever in terms of how you act in the world. I'm not saying this is that, but that's a concept that I think you're familiar with, right?
It gives you a shitty life, Socrates.
It gives you what?
It gives you a shitty life.
Sure, it gives you a shitty, but it can make you into a worse person. Sure, there are things that you could do in private that don't. Yeah. So I mean, from that perspective, like, but obviously, if you go do that on your own grill,
it is so shitty. It leads a vast majority, over 40%, with suicidal ideology. That's how bad it is.
That book burning? Wait, you're talking about being trans? I don't.
Being trans is so.
Do you know how to get that number down? Do you know what thing reduces that number? The suicidality?
Christian?
No, Joe.
No, yes, it does. It's scientifically
no.
It's been proven.
Joe, I know that you know that it hasn't because you're referencing. Okay, I'm going to give you the answer. Being accepted reduces that suicidality number. So when you say this is the dots that I'm going to connect that you didn't want me to connect, but I'm going to do it anyway. Being accepted reduces suicidality. So when you say the people are great, I love the people, I just hate the ideology of them being accepted. Them being accepted saves lives. This is why these things aren't distinct.
You cannot make people accept
You can't make anybody do anything.
All you can do is change yourself.
You can't make anybody do anything. Of course not.
You can't accept. Listen. When a car gets a flat tire, you don't change the car to accommodate the flat tire. You change the flat tire. You don't critique all of society because they have a problem with this like degeneracy.
If there's something wrong with the car, you put on a different tire. so that the car can keep going? What if you have to put on like a spare tire till you get it somewhere else? Then you do that.
Yeah, then you get it somewhere else so that you fix it. Yeah, it's the same thing. But I'm saying is that you don't change the whole of society to go with this degeneracy.
Joe,
You get rid of the degeneracy
the
so
whole
that
of
you
society doesn't have
society.
to. The whole of society doesn't have to change. People can change or not change, but
But
we're recognizing the fact
it's impossible.
that
What you're
people
asking
exist.
for is unreasonable.
We're not gonna eliminate them. We're not. So they exist. People exist. And when we accept them, suicidality goes down. And also, I'm going to accept.
What does
Yeah, I'm going to accept
them
them as
mean?
people.
When you say accept them, do you mean my way of accepting them, where I say, hey, it's between you and God? Is that accept?
Honestly, that's not bad. That's pretty good. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, so
we'll take that.
So if I want to ban books, how is that not accepting them?
Well, that's a different thing than saying it's between you and God. That's saying it's between me. I'm between you and your stuff, right? You're getting in the middle of it. If you say it's between you and God, then you're not getting in the middle of it, right? Those are totally different things.
Okay, how about if a Satanist wants to worship Satan, right?
Sure.
I could look at them and say, hey, you know what, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, you're gonna have to pick up the tab for that one.
They don't exactly worship Satan, but yeah, I get your point.
Whatever. But there are people out there who do, in fact, worship Satan.
Not that I'm aware of, but I have some friends who are Satanists. Yeah.
Okay, regardless of who you know, there are people who worship Satan. Do you accept that to be true?
I don't know if I accept that to be true. No.
You don't. Okay.
If you could show me some, I'd be happy to see. But I know people who work at the Church of Satan, and they don't worship Satan.
I would bet you money that there are people who worship.
I'm sure there's some people who worship Satan. They probably call themselves Christians or something, right?
Okay,
like,
we didn't need to waste time on that. But anyway.
Well, I'm just correcting some misinformation, so that's what the channel's about.
Let's just say, they got a figure of Baphomet or whatever it is.
Baphomet's real
that
thing. Yeah.
All that stuff. What if I just said, nah, fuck your statue of Baphomet. I tip it over, break it, I burn it with gasoline.
You're gonna commit arson and...
No, we voted City Hall. Huh? City Hall says, yeah, it's fine. And then we go.
What do you mean? How would City Hall vote to remove people's private property and burn it?
Private. Nope. Hold on. So it's a public. Let's say they have a public display of like some Church of Satan.
Well, they do. So there's specifically.
We don't recognize them as a real church. They're not protected under the law.
I mean, they have been recognized, and.
No.
What do you mean? What do you mean? No, you're not aware of that.
Hypothetical. I'm giving you a complete hypothetical here.
Why don't we just talk about reality?
Okay. The reality is, I can accept the sins of a person who may be gay or trans or whatever, and that they are going to have to deal with that sin on their own. But I could also say, this book is not going in the library that my child is going to. And those are two different things, and I think that I'm operating fine in both areas.
Do you recognize what I've said that relates to that situation? Can you repeat for me what my point was relating to how those situations in somebody else's mind might not be disconnected? Can you repeat what I said about that?
That what? I'm asking you.
Are you aware of what I said? Did that? I can repeat it. This isn't a quiz. I'm just
repeat it. Repeat it, because now that I just want to make sure that you understand what I'm saying. That individuals are not going to have to face any kind of persecution at all, right? All I'm getting rid of is the ideology that is proven to be a net negative for society. That I say that, hey, look. If we all get together and we agree that it has to go, then it's going to go.
Sure, of course. I mean, that's how it usually happens. We're used to that as gender nonconforming people, used to that as Jews. We're used to people in our country voting against our rights. Like this isn't a new thing you're talking about. That's not a hypothetical. That's real and that's happening all the time.
The only difference here is we're getting rid of something that is a net negative to humanity.
Unlike the Jews, which are net positive or neutral, or
Gay and trans ideology is a net negative to society, and trans ideology in particular is a predatory, pedophilic
oh, interesting. Okay.
practice. Yeah. So
Hmm.
so it is specifically aimed and targeted at children.
Wow. Do you think
It produces the
saying
most
stuff like that could
pedophiles,
lead to
and it has
stochastic terrorism or violence?
no,
No. Okay.
no,
If you say, "Hey,
no.
people advocate for this stuff are a group of pedophiles," they're predatory
Yeah, we should
pedophiles.
get
Do you think
rid
that
of we
that
should
could
get
lead
rid of
to
all their
do
tools.
do
We
people
should get rid of all the
do people
ways
like
that they get to
pedophiles?
spread it. Yeah.
Do people
Hmm?
have you heard of Pizzagate?
Pizzagate. I'm not interested in talking about like
Things that have happened?
obfuscating. I'm not interested in obfuscating. I'm saying that it is factual that this trans ideology is hyper focused on children.
It's
That is a
not. It's
fact.
not factual. No.
That is a fact.
You've been
Okay,
reading misinformation. People have been
tell me
lying to
what
you.
other. Tell me what other. Okay, let's test that out.
Mhm.
Tell me what other ideology goes after changing, like rendering a child infertile, or like basically like chemically castrating or neutering them, like
I'm
rendering
not aware
them
of
unable
any.
to
Maybe some like
procreate.
small sects somewhere for some like religious something that have like eunuchs, I guess. Like it's more of an ancient thing. It's not like a modern thing that
Unix.
exists. Yeah, in like temples or whatever. I
Yeah,
think
do we allow like eunuch practices in America? I'm not sure that
I
we
have
do.
no idea. Probably not. But
Probably not.
there's is
Yeah.
that a thing
But
where
so, could you imagine if we did though?
the castratos
Could
is
you
that
imagine if
still
we did allow something like that? That'd be pretty
castratos?
bad.
You know what I'm talking about in like singers.
Yeah. Now
I
we're
don't think
getting off
that's
topic now. We're getting off
diminished.
topic now. So
Wait,
now
what were you
so
talking about?
I could see you're very uncomfortable
I'm
with
not
engaging with
uncomfortable.
this
You
truth.
are
You're
full of
engaging with this
misinformation
truth
on this
here.
topic.
This is not
It
misinformation.
is misinformation.
They absolutely render children infertile, unable,
Which
and
ideology wants that?
trans, like the idea that says that you have to transition before your natural puberty ruins your body.
Why would somebody do that? Why would somebody want to do that of their own free will? Why would somebody do
Because they're
something like
mentally
that?
unwell.
Oh, okay.
Because you're mentally unwell. Yeah, could you think of any other reason to cut off your penis other than being mentally
I'm
unwell?
not aware of in general like anybody cutting off their penis.
I'm
If somebody had more,
saying
he'd cut
if
off
someone
their
signs up to
legs.
get their penis surgically removed,
Nobody
are they
does
not
that.
mentally unwell?
Nobody does that.
Nobody's okay. They get it chopped and screwed into a fake vagina.
Hmm. How many minors get surgeries like that?
That sounds a lot more mentally
How many
unwell than.
surgeries would you say? Like,
I didn't say
um,
the surgeries. I said the chemical castration.
wait, but Joe, you
Chemical.
just said, like,
Sure, the surgeries. Now,
okay.
for if you want to go yeah, okay, you're right. Let's focus on minors. So on minors, you have the chemical castration.
No, don't obfuscate. You said
Not
surgeries. How many
you asked
surgeries do you
me.
think occur?
You corrected me and said that this doesn't happen to minors. I said yes, you're right.
Okay.
So let me go ahead and go to what does happen to minors.
Okay.
Chemical castration via hormone therapy renders them, pretty much screws up their natural. Can you tell me what other ideology makes you like says, hey, you should take this drug
So
that we use to
you
castrate
just don't know
minors?
like there's no polite way to say this, but you don't actually know anything about this. I'm sorry. Like
What
this
is
is
hormone therapy? What is hormone therapy?
what is hormone therapy?
When it comes to transition, like to hormone therapy for a trans person, what
Hmm.
is that?
Right. So generally you want to block whatever more
Hormone
prevalent.
blockers.
Sorry, did I say something? I was in the
Hormone
middle of.
blockers? Yeah.
Tell me when you want me to go. I thought that was
Is that
like.
what it's called? Is that
Uh,
what we colloquially refer them
I thought you were.
as?
I thought you wanted me to respond to something.
This is called reasonable interruption. It's an
Okay.
interrogation.
Okay.
I'm asking you a direct pointed question.
You asked me
Is
at hormone therapy.
Are you referring to the thing most colloquially known as hormone blockers? Great.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I
Mhm.
saved us a lot of time there. So
Okay.
now that we've done that, do you agree that these drugs are also used to chemical castrate offenders?
Hormone blockers?
Yeah. You're not aware?
Yeah, they might be. I'm not super familiar with exactly what drugs are used for chemical castration of prisoners. That's not something I've studied a lot. Yeah.
Sex offenders, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I'm aware that that's a thing, but I haven't like researched that.
That they're the exact
deeply.
same drug.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know that? Okay.
Well, it's not very interesting, I guess, is what I'm saying.
It's not very interesting. Okay,
No,
I think
it's
pretty deeply concerning. I think it's pretty disturbing that we would give underage individuals drugs that would chemically castrate them. That seems rather monstrous to me.
Are you aware of the drug ketamine?
Yeah, mildly. Yeah.
It's a party drug. People have overdosed from it, died from it. People use it in raves. Are you aware that it's used as an anesthetic?
Okay.
It's used to put people under for surgeries.
Okay.
Is that concerning?
Is that chemical? Does it chemically castrate you?
What?
Do you wake up and you're normal again, or are the effects of it reversible?
It depends how much you take.
Oh, how about is it mostly reversible?
It depends how much you take.
How about if administered by a medical professional, is it reversible? If they do it in a responsible way?
Sure, yeah, assuming nothing goes wrong, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So when you're administering these children, are
they reversible? Yes.
Is it reversible?
Yes.
And they can now they can get back all the muscle mass and bone density that they lost during the years of puberty that they didn't go through, and can they reproduce again and perfectly reversible? They can.
I mean, it's not perfect. Ketamine also isn't perfect.
To a gigachad.
I mean, no drugs are perfect generally, generally speaking.
Oh, but this one goes one way and never go back the other, right?
What?
Once you chemically castrate yourself, is there any way to undo that? Do you just stop?
Yeah, you just stop. Yeah, exactly. You just stop taking it. Yeah.
Oh, and then you magically go back to you just resume. So let's say you take this for like 2 or 3 years of your puberty, and then you stop, and then you stop at like age 20, and then your puberty just says, "Oh, we're off hold now. Let's just continue your puberty. It doesn't matter that 2021 now. We're going to pick up exactly. It's like a video game."
That's a good question, Joe. Has that ever happened?
Yeah.
Has it ever happened?
Has anyone ever had a normal puberty after
No,
getting
Joe,
off?
the thing that you just asked me. Has that ever happened?
Has what I'm talking about specifically
the sentence, the question that you just asked me. Has that ever happened?
I don't know. I don't imagine that it happens a lot.
Okay. Do you think it's ever happened?
Not enough to justify it. No.
Not enough to justify what?
Not enough to justify giving these drugs to kids. No, I don't think any small amount of it ever being reversed is enough for it to ever be justified.
Joe, do you remember what question you asked
place.
me?
Which question are you? I asked you a bunch of questions.
The last question you asked me was, let's say that you take puberty blockers and then at 20 you stop taking them.
Uh-huh.
Has that ever
Do you
happened?
just resume your... I probably.
How many times do you think that's happened?
I don't know.
Dozens,
there are
hundreds,
stories
thousands, tens of thousands.
There are people who have detransitioned, who have said, you know what, this was a bad idea, and
What percent of people
maybe
detransition, do you think?
I don't know. I'm just saying it probably, if it happens...
It's about 1%. Do you know what the majority of them say, why they detransitioned?
It doesn't matter to...
It doesn't matter to you because you don't care about this. You have something you care about, but you don't care about these people. That's my point. I'm not getting lost. This is the topic.
Yes, you are.
This is the topic. You're telling me you care about these people, and I'm telling you that from your ability to talk about them without understanding them, it's not okay to say that, Joe.
Emotions under control, Socrates.
I'm not emotional. I'm not emotional. I'm telling you.
You're saying out on me, and I'm not appreciating it.
Joe, you're talking. I'm talking. If you're not going to let me talk,
on me right
I'm going to keep talking.
You're
okay.
Going out of control. You're not answering the question I'm asking you.
You're not answering the question I'm asking you.
Because this is not the format you agreed to.
Yeah.
That's not
might be an insurrection happening live.
Yeah, no. This is not this. You keep on violating the boundaries of the
norms of the format that we agreed to.
The agreed.
I mean,
yes,
look. We could talk about the we could talk about the format, but I'm going to speak my mind, Joe. The point of this was for us to share perspectives, and if you're not going to listen to me, like when I'm talking heart to heart about what's happening,
to share perspectives. That was not the point.
The point is not to share perspectives.
No, it was for me to put your views on trial, not the other way around. Not to make me see your
You won't be able to see my perspective unless a little bit of this happens. Unless I can just tell you what's happening.
The only way I could see your perspective is if you answer the questions I'm asking. And if you don't allow me to answer the questions I'm asking you, then we're not going to have a very productive conversation. So it's either if you don't want to continue, I'm not going to force you to. If you're uncomfortable with this format, but I don't know. You tell me. Are you done?
I think the format is missing some pieces.
Nope. It's going exactly the way I told you it was going to go. I am going to interrogate you on your beliefs, and I also told you I'm going to implement...
No. Sorry, I think you misunderstood.
I'm not done yet.
No, I need to interrupt because you're going off on a statement that isn't based on what I said. I'm not saying that we're not at what the structure of the conversation was supposed to be. I'm telling you that I think this structure isn't serving us well enough as it is.
Well, if you don't agree to go along with it, of course, Socrates.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's.
I can't get you to answer my basic questions.
Instead,
you keep obfuscating.
I'm not obfuscating, Joe.
You keep. Okay, well, all I know
you have
is
to stop saying that. That's not true, and it's not fair.
All right, okay, whatever you want to call it, I ask a question. And I'm just getting increasingly frustrated every time I'm not here. And instead I'm hearing a whataboutism, or hearing you ask me a question instead. That's not how this works. The format was, I ask you a question, you give me an answer. And I'm not getting that.
Okay. Let's set a 8-minute time limit where 100% strict.
To go pretty soon. I think okay. Maybe at this point we both need a break, because it is a hard thing to do. Maybe it's hard for me to not hear the answer to my questions.
I
and
know
it's
to
hard
not
for you
hear
to
the
answer.
answers you want.
No, you're not giving me any answer. You're not giving me any answer. When I give you it, it's not. You're not actually. If you go back and you rewatch this, you're not actually answering the questions I'm directly asking of you, and I try to refine them and make them finer pointed so that you can't, give me an answer that doesn't have to do with the thing I'm asking. I try to clarify and clarify and clarify, and you keep on kind of like, doing these little moves to kind of, you know, get around it, and it's just kind of, it's just kind of tiring. Um, so I don't
I
know. I
think
mean,
I think if we're
I
gonna
think I
do
got the
this, then
answers
you
I
need
wanted.
to you need to spend some time putting together these questions, because you're asking me things that are in ways that are not super clear, in ways that are partly thought through. I start answering, and you interrupt my answer, or say that I'm answering too much. You don't like the answers I'm giving.
No, those are fine. Those are all fine. When you give answers and I make you clarify them, or I say, actually, that part isn't true, like when you tried to go over different ways Trump was a fascist or whatever, that's fine. You're actually giving me answers there. What I'm saying are there are points where you're just literally
I
not
think,
answering.
yeah,
Those are the only,
I think
yeah.
there are times when I'm seeing that you're
You've
so
given me
far
answers
off
I
track with
disagree
your
with,
questions
and it's still an
that
answer, and I
I
don't have a
need to
problem with that.
interject. I think there's times when I'm seeing you asking questions that reveal a lack of context, that my answer won't tell you very much of anything unless I give you, like, like whatever onion with layers. I'm not trying to give you the whole onion, but like one layer around that answer, so that that answer makes sense.
I just want a concise answer.
Well,
Just
okay.
make it.
Do you
Any way
have
you
do you
can
have
make your
5 minutes
answers
to
as
do
concise as possible.
like a speed round, 5 minute speed round,
Sure. I
just
don't know
straight
how
up?
speedy it will be, but I'll try. Look, yeah, I'll ask you. Here's a question I had for you, and this is regarding the same trans topic or whatever. Do biological women have any rights exclusive to them?
Uh, what were the categories of like yes, no, and like not clear or something?
Do you believe? No. I'm just saying. Do you
You're
believe
saying
they should
cis
have
women? I don't. I'm not
no
sure about your terminology.
females?
You're
Females.
females,
Do you believe female humans
female humans. Okay.
have any? Do you believe they should have any exclusive right?
Exclude. Have any
Like
exclusive rights?
only, that only they should have, that men can never have.
Well,
Males can never
men
have.
and female
Males can never
males. Okay,
have.
cool,
Males
cool,
can
cool.
never have.
Um, I mean, when it comes to like hate crime legislation, I actually don't know. I think probably not. I think probably men can be hate crimed as well. So I think probably no. I don't think there is anything on the books.
You you don't believe that women should have any
You said
protected.
females.
It's like theme. I'm okay. Look, no, I'm not conforming to your language.
I'm not trying to
I'm,
like
I'm
whatever. I'm
okay. Look,
just
so
to the same
a
category.
woman to me is a female. So whenever I say woman,
Sure,
I
that's
mean
fine.
female.
That's fine. Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So should women should
hmm
ought women have any rights or protected spaces exclusive to them?
Protected spaces. I could see that. I could see that. Yeah.
So like a bathroom?
Like a public bathroom?
Yeah.
Probably not. It's probably overboard.
Oh. So they can't have protected spaces.
They can't have protected spaces. No,
Yeah,
I
because
said
you're not
I said
allowing
yes.
them to have.
Wait. I need to interject here.
Okay.
You asked me a general question. I said yes. Then you asked me a specific thing, and I said no. And then you said no about the general thing.
Well, I'm asking you.
If I say yes, it doesn't mean I have to say yes to every single possible scenario, right?
uh, Is there any? Okay, what would they have that if not a
Mm-hmm.
bathroom? What protected space would they have?
Yeah, I mean maybe like a rape crisis center. So there was a rape crisis center in Canada that was trans exclusive,
Well,
that was
hold
shut
on.
down, and I think it probably shouldn't have
Can
been.
trans people or can trans people or gay people experience rape or anything
Yeah,
like that? I
definitely.
said something I
Wait,
said,
what?
can they have any exclusive to females, exclusive to women? Do they have any protected spaces that are exclusive to them and that are not? Do you see what I'm saying here? Exclusive to
I thought I
females.
did, but now I don't.
Do
Wait,
females have any rights that are uniquely only a female's right?
like deciding what they do with the pregnancy, I guess. Yeah, that would be one thing.
That's the only right they get. But now men can get pregnant too, right?
Well, no, you said female. You said women are
I
females
know.
in terms of your translation. So
Okay. All right. So that's it. So you don't recognize trans men as females. You recognize
trans men
them
are
as
females.
they are females. Okay. All right. So you believe that females should have some kind of protected space or right,
Sure. Yeah.
and it should only be limited to like an abortion center.
I mean, abortions are the only like prenatal, care, or
But
like something related to.
but you don't agree that females can own sports league or their own bathrooms, like public bathroom.
Uh, Probably not. No.
Oof. Okay. All right. Well, you gave me an answer. Uh, that's pretty sad, but when you live in the atheist world, I guess this is what you get.
This is what you get. At any other speed.
Women
Uh,
women don't get sports leagues. They don't get their own bathroom. They just fuck them.
yeah. Fuck them.
Fuck them. That's yeah. That's
I
what it
mean,
comes down
why do
to.
you?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, here.
Basically, right? What? How's that not
Yeah.
true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here.
You don't
We
get
give me
your own
like
sports league. Fuck you.
we give me like 1 minute of or here. Actually, you know what? Let me just give me one question. Who do you? Which scenario do you think occurs more often? Or actually, make this a couple different questions. Okay. Who do you think assaults, let's say, cis women in bathrooms more often? Cis men or trans women?
Uh, could the cis man be dressed as a woman?
I guess. I don't see why not.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, I guess
I
I
mean,
can't tell the
I don't.
difference.
I think you probably could, but yeah.
What's the point of the question?
Well, here.
Is that the point?
Next. Wait here. And one more. Okay. Um, let's say.
So if you could answer, I could probably better be. I could be better equipped to answer this question for you if maybe I could ask you a question. How if I were to put you into a room,
Mhm.
and there are two individuals in this room. One is a trans woman,
Mhm.
and the other is an insane man in a dress.
Mhm.
Which one is the trans woman?
The trans woman.
No, you can't ask any questions. You got
No. That wasn't a question. That was the answer. That was a two-word,
I'm saying.
three-word answer. The trans
Okay,
woman.
how do you?
Yeah.
Okay, how do you decide which one is the trans woman?
Like clinically speaking, socially, have you
No,
ever
you-
have you ever
You
been in
could-
that scenario?
I'm putting you in this scenario where, okay, you ever seen a police lineup? So where they put you
I'm
behind
familiar
the
with the
glass?
concept. I've never in person.
Yeah. So there's a police lineup, and on the other side of the glass there are two identical twins. One is insane and wears a dress as part of his insanity, and the other is a trans. Which
a
one
trans
is this?
woman.
Yeah.
I'd
Which one
probably
is
talk
insane?
to them,
Which one is
and the one
No,
who's
you can't
like,
talk to them. They're on the
oh, I
other
can't
side
talk
of
to
this
them.
glass.
Okay.
You can't.
Why can't I
Yeah,
talk to them?
you're on a lineup because
What?
they're in a police lineup. You can't talk.
Why are
to
they in
them.
a police lineup?
I'm giving.
You
that's
can
the
talk to them.
hypothetical
Wait,
I'm
you can talk to
throwing.
them in a police lineup? What the fuck are you talking about? Of course, they say like turn to the left. Wait, of course you can talk to them.
How are you telling me how my hypothetical?
I'm
is
telling you
set
how
up?
police lineup works.
I'm telling you how the hypothetical is set up.
Wait, this is a police lineup in an alternate reality where you can't talk to them?
I'm giving you an idea that it's like a police lineup in that you're on the other side of the glass and you cannot speak to them.
Just say there's like a photo of each of them, right? Isn't that
No.
what are you getting at?
If it helps you, there's a photo of them. Whatever.
Sure,
There's
sure.
a
Okay.
photo.
I mean, I may or may not be able. I don't like. It depends how crazy they are and what way they're crazy. Like you're just under-specifying this is the issue.
Wait, are you telling me if I put an insane man in a dress next to a trans woman, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart just by looking at them?
Well, it depends is my answer to almost anything, Joe, in the world. But yeah, I could probably tell, but it depends on like the circumstance. Like it's do you know what I'm saying? How like the world has like a lot of different things in it?
Just painted the hypothetical for you. Would you like me to do it again?
No, I need you to either be more specific or like in general, I can tell when someone is like visibly trans. Like yeah, I mean,
you got identical
and I've
twins.
never encountered somebody
one
who's
is suffering from
just crazy and in a dress. So
yes, you got identical twins. One is suffering from severe mental like distress of some kind.
Kind.
He's insane. He's clinically insane.
In what way, clinically insane?
That
like bipolar?
He's clinically insane. I'm not giving you his. I'm just going to say that this person dresses as he's clinically insane, and he dresses up as a woman.
He dresses up as a woman, or he wears a dress?
Huh?
He dresses up as a woman, or he wears a dress?
He wears women's garments.
Okay, now, but he doesn't dress as a woman.
Twin brother, yeah, he he puts on. So him and his brother. The brother is trans, and they have identical dresses. They're men. So it's like.
Well, you said one of the
both male twins.
Yeah, but you said one of them is trans. So one is a woman, one is a man.
I got.
Do you like? Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like in terms of like, I'm happy to answer questions, but like you need I don't know, draw it out or something.
This is what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say.
I think I do, and I think I answered it a ton of times.
Sir, listen, no.
Do you recognize that, Joe? Do you recognize that I've answered your question multiple times now?
No, you haven't, because
okay, stop. Stop. I'm going to answer your question twice, and you can't tell me that I haven't answered it. Yes, I can tell, and also it might depend. Do you recognize now that I've answered?
How could you tell? Hold on. Before you answer that, the way I specifically painted the example, I want to know how you could tell them apart. Because I made a very specific picture here.
You did not make a very specific picture. I reject that you made a specific picture.
I said, okay, here you go. I'll make it specific for you.
Okay. There's two pictures of two people, and the pictures are identical, but one of them is trans and the other person is... Okay.
They're standing... Okay, listen. You gotta listen.
I'm listening.
You gotta just be quiet and listen. You gotta not talk, okay? So, there are identical twins. They're wearing the same dress, right? They're both trans. No, they're not both trans. They're both males. One is insane and dresses up like a woman due to his as part of his insanity, and the other is a trans woman, but they just happen to buy the exact same clothes because they're twins, and that's the twin part that they kept. Now, how can you tell? They take a photo standing next to each other. How can you tell the trans person apart from how can you tell the trans male sibling from the insane male sibling?
I'd probably go with the happier looking one is trans.
Pass it right now.
Hmm?
No, nothing. I needed something.
Oh, yeah.
What would you say?
I'd say that the happier looking one is trans.
That's a brilliant answer.
Thank you. I'm a brilliant person.
I know. That's very... But that answers it for me.
Got my
Unless you
PhD
gotta-
hanging on that wall over there. You can't see.
Yep. That's... Naturally. Okay. That was fun.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's go to my second question.
Well, I gotta.
Nope. This is a basically one word answer. Okay.
More over time.
All right.
Okay, but
Who do you-
I'll entertain this.
Who do you think per capita gets assaulted in bathrooms more? Cis women or trans women?
Gets assaulted in bathrooms more?
Mhm.
I would
Per capita.
assume. I would assume the males are getting assaulted for going into female bathrooms a lot more than females are for going into female. So that would be my assumption.
Yeah, that's accurate.
That would be my assumption.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if I saw a man walk in the bathroom after my daughter walked in there or something, I would feel a certain type of way about it. I probably wouldn't, I probably
Well,
would.
no, not
confront
a
that
man,
person,
but a woman.
not violently. Nah, I don't buy that.
Sure, I mean that's fine, but I'm just telling you.
Yeah. Right. No, I disagree. But that other people might feel a lot more strongly than me, and I think that is something that people need to be aware of in the world. And there's a little thing called fuck around and find out. I wouldn't fuck around because I don't want to find out, right? So some people...
You know what's funny, Joe?
Not to do
You know what's
that,
funny?
right? For their own safety, because you don't know who you're going to run into out there, right? You don't want to poke the wrong bear and fuck around and fight. So it is not something I would advise.
You know who said that phrase recently, Joe?
Out of love for those people, I would say that it was be in your best interest, and I don't want to see anyone get harmed. So I would say that for best practices, they should not put themselves in harm's way like that. Please, I beg.
Do you know who said that recently?
Don't
Joe,
don't
Destiny
put yourself in harm's
said
way,
that
please,
recently.
by going into the wrong bathroom.
Destiny said, "Fuck around and find out" when it comes to people going to Trump rallies, and you've just now said that about trans people living their lives.
Hey, it's all fair. It's all fair game.
I guess
now,
it's all
right?
fair game. I guess it's all fair game.
It's all fair game. Except we're
I
better
guess
at
let's just do
playing that
violence.
game. We're better at playing the fuck around and find out game. So that's a losing game for you.
You started
guys
with
to play.
Socratease. Hey, you need to condemn political violence, and now you're saying, oh, I guess it's all good.
So no, we're done doing that because.
Oh, you're done now. Okay.
Destiny's. Hey, you guys declared it. The left has declared
Joe,
it.
I said no. I said no, Joe. Okay. I guess Destiny's enough for you. To give up all your integrity, all your morals. Destiny said it.
You know what? I used to pray for tolerance. That's something I don't pray for anymore. That is not something. Why do we have to keep? We're done tolerating. Okay, this is where the pendulum swings the other way, and I'm already seeing it go in some good directions. I have hope. That's why I'm out here spreading love like I am, and that's I see it as a good thing. But we don't have to tolerate evil, because that's what got us into this mess in the first place. So now that we're done tolerating it, things are starting to go back in the right direction.
Things are starting to go back in the right direction? With the Trump assassination? Isn't that what we're talking about? Turning down the level of rhetoric toward violence?
Hey,
You've just abandoned that?
We never said Joe Biden was Hitler. Nobody over here said Biden was ever Hitler.
Okay.
We just never
Well,
compared him to a dictator. Sorry. We just said he was sleepy. That's all we ever did. I mean, we deserve to get shot at for calling him sleepy. I mean, that's.
I don't think
But
so. Do you think
oh
that about
yeah,
other
I don't think
people?
so. I don't think our guy should have been called Hitler. But you know, they kept doing it, and they keep on doing it, and it's like, I guess we always have to be the bigger people here and not do that to them.
Isn't that the point? Isn't that the point of
That
believing in
is, yeah,
something?
that's the point of us being Christians. We just have a higher standard than the left does, and it's been
Then the
proven
left
time and
does.
time again.
Again, with
Yeah,
the partisan, polarizing rhetoric. I think
big,
all of us can be
big.
better people.
That's who I'm speaking out against.
You're,
Socratease, the one who got the biggest bullhorns. Those are the ones I'm condemning. Let's just be clear about that. The ones trying to spread the message the loudest are the ones I'm against. So yes, when I say the left, I mean the ones being the loudest about Trump being a Hitler. Those are the people I'm condemning. Just to be clear.
okay. I don't
Yeah.
think it's novel to condemn the other side. I think it's novel to look at your own house.
Condemn that type of rhetoric that led to that type of violence, Socrates. I'm not going to just say, oh, okay, because it's not fucking okay. Because we don't
It's
do
not
it to
okay.
their guy. We don't do it to Joe Biden. We don't call him Mussolini or Hitler or any of that bullshit. We call him for what he is. We call a spade for a spade over here, and the left is not doing that. And I have an issue with it because it leads to bullshit like this, you know, like assassination attempts happening. It's not good. You guys need to turn it the fuck down because we just don't do it over here. That's the point I'm trying to
Joe,
make.
every
I hope
time you say
learns
you
from it.
guys, you turn up the temperature. We're all Americans. We're all in this together. That's the
No,
whole
fuck
point.
that. You
Fuck
know,
that.
no,
Fuck unity.
like when
Joe,
my kids need. No, unity is when you guys come back. Not you guys, but like specifically. But when the left kind of gains its senses and starts to say that calling Trump Hitler is not fucking okay, and it's not even fucking true, I think it's done. It's like it's over. That's all we got to say on it. It's too extreme. It's bullshit. It's dishonest. It's nowhere like near the truth, and the consequences for it are way worse than the consequences of us calling a spade when we say Sleepy Joe is sleepy and he poops his
we
fucking
call him
pants and he
sleepy.
needs to be in a fucking.
The,
Okay,
the
yeah, you
first
guys
people to
call
come
it
up and
because
say he
it's
should
true.
resign were
You
like
can't-
people you
because it's
hate, like
true. You
Cenk
can't know the
Uygur and
truth.
fucking people from the Young Turks were like, oh yeah, you know, let's get rid of Biden. Like the left loves making fun of Biden. They love tearing him. I mean,
Hey, you know what's
more than anybody.
You know what's the truth is when large. You know what seems to be the true is when large swaths of both sides agree on something. It's hard to call that not the truth. But when only one side is largely, and then a teeny tiny little bit of rhinos on the other side are calling him Hitler. I mean, it's the fault. It's the fault of that group when it gets that extreme. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay.
You know, like I appreciate the conversation. I know he
Okay.
did.
Any closing thoughts on unity, turning down violent rhetoric in America?
Yeah, so I think we're
I'll
going
let you have the last
to
word.
unify. Yeah, so I think the way we unify is we basically have to, you know, I hope this election goes well. I hope people are able to see that when the other side does things a little better and puts the country in a better position, that guy has, you know, Trump, after almost dying, has not quit. He has not been scared out of giving up. That is not a selfish man to me. That is a man who truly loves this country, and I feel like that is, you know, as dopey as he is, as you know, dumb as he is sometimes, I do believe that he loves this country and wants what's best for it at the end of the day, and he demonstrates that in his policies that spur the economy, and you know, then the way he talks about what he's going to do is exactly what the country is asking for. The country is concerned with the economy and immigration. Those are things that Biden has failed on and Trump has succeeded on. So naturally we have to, I think going in that direction is okay, and make them going in that direction for following what the constituency wants. So, on that note, I think we just need to acknowledge that the system is working as intended. We could demonize the policy positions of each candidate, but the character assassination and constant, he's Hitler and he's that terrible type of dishonest rhetoric has got to stop, because it's bullshit and it's also not happening, and that's an unraveling to the fabric of this country and the system that makes it all work and come together. That kind of bullshit has to stop, and I think the only way we unify is if that side who is saying things that aren't true needs to just cut that shit out, get back to their senses, and come back to criticizing policy, which is how we do things over here. That's how it should be. We like a little character assassination, a little bit of joking here and there is fun. Saying that you suck at golf is fine, but calling somebody Hitler, nah. I think there was only one guy that bad, and nobody should ever be compared to him again unless they actually hit his numbers. So those are kind of my closing thoughts. I, hope that it wasn't too spicy.
No, it got spicy there, but that was a fun conversation. Yeah, we can see if we can try to organize to get universal discourse to moderate. that might be
Sure.
a useful ingredient, but I think I don't know.
Sure.
I felt like we had some productive conversation there. I really do. But yeah, thank you so much for the chat.
For sure. All right, man.
All right, have a good night. Take care.
Peace be with you.
Peace be
All right.
unto you. Take care.